And Haiti,
Hey,
happy New Year and Pirates of Orions.
yeah, that is
Oreos?
what. Yeah, that's what's interesting. Is it's we all know previously they've called them Orion, but for some reason in this episode they call them Orions, like Oreo. I don't know
Huh?
why. I don't know if William Shatner mispronounced it, so they all mispronounced it. I'm not really sure.
Well, I have sort of an answer from the book when we
Oh,
get to
excellent!
it.
I should have known. I should have known. And thank you all for being here. And hello to everybody in the chat. Yes, just like Scotty said, Happy New Year. This is our first stream of the new year for the TAS. And I know we were all busy last week, so if you missed us, I apologize, but we will get caught up. I think you'll have a great time tonight. I'm really excited for this. I thought it was a pretty good episode considering it was a TAS. And I wanted to welcome my everybody on the panel. How are you all doing?
Excellent,
Wonderful.
thank you.
Happy New Year.
Likewise,
Happy
Happy
New
New Year.
Year.
I'm okay. I had a really fun time with this episode. It blew me away.
Yeah, it was fun. It's so sad there's only 6 episodes for the season.
Oh no, you're missing things while they're here. This was one of the anyway. Before we get to the episode proper, thanks for letting me play, man. This is always the best watching new old Star Trek. I had never seen this episode before, first time, and it is my favorite thing of 2023 so far.
It was pretty good, wasn't it? I know I'm partial to the animated series, but I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it had some good animation, especially the asteroid field and everything.
Oh, yes, the coloring on the asteroid field. That was very nice.
Where was Chekhov?
Well, I know, where was Chekhov? You know what's interesting, too, is last night, I watched this episode in preparation for tonight's stream and Arena in preparation for tomorrow night's stream. And it's striking how similar they both begin.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, it's kind of like a cross between Arena and Amok Time.
It is, because basically something that they want has been attacked. We have what do you know? Hey, hail, PvP. How you doing there?
Hi guys.
PvP.
Let's see. Is it working? I'm not sure.
No.
Well, we do hear you okay.
Yeah, I don't.
It's
seem to be
working.
popping up on screen yet.
Hello.
But,
And there, well, PvP says, thanks, Pop Culture. It is my pleasure, PvP. And hello to everybody in the chat. There we go. Yeah. I don't want anybody to think I'm ignoring you in the chat. And also, if you're watching this on the rerun, I hope you enjoy it. Please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. And by the way, everybody, after the stream is over, if you can leave me a comment to let me know what you think, I think it might help my algorithm, because right now everybody does all their commenting during the stream, and then I don't get many comments after. And if you have the time, if you can get maybe a review of the stream, what you think, if you have any ideas or suggestions that might improve it.
Yes, comments.
Comments. Yes, comments are very much appreciated. Matt G says,
"Hey, Matt G.
Jill, LOL."
Yes, comments help feed the algo beast. And hello, Matt G.
Right. I'm still learning how to feed that algo beast. I'm new to this. So I do appreciate that.
The thumbs up as well. I just added mine.
Thumbs up if you can. Yes, and if you can hit this. And share to your friends if you know anybody who may be interested. Please share this out on social platforms, Facebook, Twitter, and whatever platforms you use.
And any for reference, any references I have for this episode comes from the official guide to the animated series.
That's right. Jill knows her stuff.
Or I read a book.
That's probably a good thing.
Which makes you already smarter than most people, Jill.
Extraneous. What's that word? Extraneous.
Extraneous.
Thank you. Extraneously. Thank you. What PvP said.
Oh, that's what Raquel says.
Indeed.
Extraneously, right.
There you go.
I was looking at Wikipedia.
I don't want to copy her diction.
And I think some of the stuff on Wikipedia is definitely could be very wrong.
They know nothing of Echo Beach.
Yeah, I looked at one thing in particular and it was like, oh gee, I don't think
Echo Beach is based on a real beach. Looking at you, Wikipedia, get your facts right.
Yeah, sometimes they mess up pretty bad.
Yeah, well, for a factual anyway. I gave you one job, Wikipedia. Don't lie to me.
Right. Well, considering it's an open forum, you know, who's watching it, you know. And we can tell by media these days in the press, don't trust anything you see or read or hear.
Well, that's why it's always important to cite your sources. So, who wrote this book that you were referring to, Jill?
This.
Uh-oh, you're muted.
It's a secret.
Oh, no.
Oh, I left the book in the other room. Let me see.
Go for it, Jill.
Oh, pardon me. It's a fetch quest. I apologize.
This will be my first stream, by the way, everybody, where I finally, after I think a year of procrastinating, I changed the RAM in my laptop from 4 gigabytes to 32. And I changed the built-in hard drive from 128 gigabytes to 1 terabyte. Between the two of those, I won't be cutting out anymore. I hope that once and for all, my mic issue is solved. So let me know if you hear me cutting out or anything.
Yeah, it sounds good. The official guide to the animated series was written by Aaron Harvey and Rich Shippey.
So please send any angry emails their way.
Sounds good to me.
If you're angry, I don't know.
I don't
emails, letters.
I think everybody will be pretty much
birthday
happy
card.
To find out. I have no complaints about their input. I found what Jill has written from that book very insightful, and I love it.
Absolutely.
Speaking of which, the book actually has a little introduction for the entirety of season 2 before before it goes into the individual episodes.
Oh, pray tell.
Sure. It says, despite only having 6 episodes on the docket for the final season of the animated series, the franchise scored its first ever Emmy win. Season 2 mirrored the final season of the original series in that major players had left to pursue other opportunities. Dorothy Fontana returned to live-action television, while Season 1 director Hal Sutherland and his family moved to Washington and went into semi-retirement. While Gene Roddenberry was still around, his day-to-day involvement was scaled back dramatically. While the veterans were missed and could have accounted for the mispronunciation of Orions, the show ran on autopilot. At that point, it was awfully hard to write a bad Star Trek script because the formula was so well established, commented TOS and TAS veteran David Gerald about the final year. Chuck Menville went back to pen a second episode of TAS after co-writing Season 1's Once Upon a Planet with Len Jansen. A host of new faces also accepted assignments in The Final Frontier as Bill Reed joined the crew as director, along with first-time Star Trek writers Howard Weinstein, Russell Bates, and Fred Bronson, who made his professional writing debut under the name John Culver. Season 2 once again saw Star Trek push diversity on screen as How Sharper Than a Serpent's Tooth, which earned Star Trek its aforementioned Emmy, featured the franchise's first Native American crew member, Ensign Walking Bear. Fans saw the first holodeck, although it wasn't called that, as well as the Enterprise's first captain, Robert April. And in the spirit of the classic TOS episodes, such as Spock's Brain, Season 2 even included a giant inflatable Enterprise and the crew becoming children.
The baby episode. I can't wait for the baby episode.
Yeah. That'll be great.
It's going to be so creepy.
A story that would pop up again on Star Trek The Next Generation decades later.
Less creepy that time.
The Pirates of Orion, written by 19-year-old Weinstein, a University of Connecticut student, marked the beginning of the original cast's final season on the small screen. However, fans didn't have to wait long for further adventures, as their beloved characters would return to the big screen just 5 years later. And so that's the introduction for Season 2.
Very cool. And from what I have here, apparently, that writer, Howard Weinstein, was only 19, making him the youngest writer in the Star Trek universe.
Yes, nice. That's right. This episode first aired on September 7th, 1974. And Bill Reed is the director since Hal left. Despite this, Hal's name still ends up in the end of the episode, and Bill's credit is given in the opening title.
I noticed that this time. Yeah.
It's apparently Weinstein adapted the short story that he had written for his high school's science fiction magazine, and he mailed it to the show's producers, and they accepted it.
And look at him here with this. He has a
with this bearded man.
No, this is him. This is Howard Weinstein.
Oh, the man. Oh, is okay. The dog is not the writer.
I was going to say, who's holding the writer?
This is
my first script.
Very impressive. The first dog to write for Star Trek.
Now, I know you've already pointed out the fact that this is how they pronounce it, Orion, which is weird. But is this the first episode where Shatner pronounces it sabotage? Like he aggressively says sabotage.
Well, that if it's the first time, I'm not sure, or at least it's the first time we've heard it in chronological order since we started.
Because I thought it when it came to urban myth that it was a voiceover that he kept arguing with the director and saying, "No, you say sabotage." He's like, "No, that's not." And the director said, "No, it's not how you say it." And he was like, "Listen, I'm going to say it the way I'm going to say it. You sit down, and I'm going to do it."
Nobody tells this Shat how to say anything, right?
Exactly.
I don't know. I think that this episode was really phoned in.
Oh, really?
I think so.
In terms of the verbal,
I think it's part of why the Orion was pronounced differently.
I want to shout out, hail Skogly. So good to see you there.
Hey, Skogly.
Skogly.
Matt says hello all, and Skogly says sick. Skogly says that's going to be a massive quality of life improvement across the board, especially if you do any video editing. Holy smokes! Absolutely.
Oh, with the RAM. He's talking about the RAM.
That's one of the reasons why. Yeah, because I have a lot of videos that I've shot, like in LA, my Vasquez Rocks. I shot over an hour of footage, but every time I tried to put it together, it kept telling me I was running out of memory. So now that I've got everything in this thing, I'm going to finally get those videos completed and get them posted on my channel.
It's good to have a terabyte hard drive too. That sucker can get filled up pretty fast.
Yeah, can you imagine how ridiculous a 128 gigabyte hard drive?
I don't know how you did it.
Welcome to IT support recommendation. I don't get out of bed for anything less than 64 gigs of RAM and a 2 terabyte hard drive.
I was thinking about 2 terabyte, but it was double the price. So I thought $100 is good for 1 terabyte.
Compare them to the cost of the external drives with the same amount, you'll find. But anyway.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Do you think those ears get FM radio?
Yeah.
If you buy a radio.
And the book does talk a bit about him, too.
About the dog? What's the
dog's
name?
The dog. I don't know about the dog, but youngest, you like Pop Culture Curator said, he's the youngest writer.
Mm-hmm.
It's not every day a 19-year-old college student successfully pitches a story for Star Trek, but Howard Weinstein became the youngest to accomplish the feat with the Pirates of Orion while attending the University of Connecticut. Making the achievement even more impressive was that Weinstein's story originated as a Star Trek tale he wrote as a student at East Meadow High School in New York. David Gerald had been the youngest, Weinstein explained. I think he was 23 when he sold his classic The Trouble with Tribbles episode to the live-action series. I was 19 when Filmation bought the Pirates of Orion from me in April 1974. I guess you could say I grabbed the youngest Star Trek writer record by virtue of the fact that probably not a lot of teenage college students were actively trying to write for network TV. And dumb luck and serendipitous timing were obviously major factors too. And it was really neat that he continued after this writing Star Trek novels and comic books.
Very cool.
Like for Marvel, he wrote for Star Trek Deep Space Nine and Voyager comics.
Nice.
Yeah, it's too bad that's a dying thing. You know, that we could sorely need that back in Star Trek to pump some new ideas into it, right?
Yeah, and it continues a bit with the on-the-job training for Weinstein. When Weinstein first penned the Pirates of Orion script, he wrote the adventure based on considerations of the original series production and budget limitations. The first draft script had the climactic confrontation between Captain Kirk and the Orion pirate captain taking place Mostly on the Enterprise bridge and B screen. I choose to say it the way it should be said.
Well, no, it is. It's one of those things.
Yeah,
the episode.
Weinstein recalled, though I don't have notes from my chats with Lou Scheimer, I know he wanted me to get the crew off the ship. That was the case of my initially being influenced by the original live action show, where getting them off the ship was expensive, requiring new sets or location shooting. Lou taught me a valuable lesson I had to relearn 20 years later when I wrote Star Trek comics. When anything a writer can imagine can simply be drawn by artists, you're freed from live action budget limitations. It doesn't cost any more to draw a planet's surface, an alien city, or interior of an exotic alien ship than it does to draw the bridge of the Enterprise. Lou challenged me to be more visual, so I wrote some alternate endings with Kirk and Orion captain duking it out on the colorful surface of an asteroid. We eventually settled on a climax that was more streamlined and less talky. And I love this because that means that this guy was writing this as an actual Star Trek episode, as if it were going to be played live action, which is why it's pretty good. Right? Which is why it's pretty good.
And he wrote as a fan.
Yes. Oh, and here, I guess this was just a letter that they put in the book. I guess they didn't put the full letter or anything, but I thought it was neat.
That is very cool. It's a nice touch. Welcome, Gorilla. How are you doing, sir?
Doing good. Owen has something to say to you, though.
I like the original design of the Star Trek ship.
The Enterprise.
The Enterprise.
No bloody A, B, C, or D.
Yeah.
Well, my mood did improve until I had to go out and drive again.
Oh, sorry to hear that. Well, I'm glad you made it home.
Yeah, we got to play our favorite game.
What's
Whose
that?
lane is it anyhow?
Oh, that sounds scary.
Good. I got 3 token Fs in this for sure.
Really?
This might be just because I'm in a bad mood today.
Well, thank heavens. It's a new year.
Happy New Year, Gorilla.
Happy New Year, Gorilla. And we'll see. We'll try to see if we can turn that frown upside
down.
Hey, well, turn my phone upside down as if I could start smacking people and not go to jail for it.
Play some Donkey Kong.
It's one of the F's because the writer had to use his college ruled paper to type out his draft script because that's here.
That's what it looks like, right?
That's what he.
I didn't even know about that.
That's pretty cool.
Gorilla has F's of his own, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
The Pirates of Orion.
No, automatic. It is Orion. It's been Orion. Fuck the Orions. It is Orions.
I'm just going on the vernacular of the episode, dude.
The 19th century. Because we got the Orion constellation and all that. That's where they're from. It's been Orion since the 19th century.
So that's an F from you.
That's an F from me.
Yeah.
Is that planet still called Uranus?
Well, okay.
Uranus.
Orion slave girls are green. The Orions, like we know who the Orions are. And so I don't know. Like, I just don't understand why they abandoned the Orions. But I'm fine with the episode. It's just like, why are you not Orions?
They try to explain why it's pronounced different.
Do they?
Well, the book tries. Not
the
very
book
well.
Tries, but it fails.
It tries.
All
right. I didn't get to hear why they renamed it, but
it doesn't try hard.
No, they didn't rename it. They just it's just a mistake. So, Captain's Log, Stardate 6334.1, the outbreak of cryocytosis aboard the Enterprise seems to be under control. Dr. McCoy says the disease is no longer even as serious as pneumonia, and there should be no problem completing our mission. Representing the Federation at the dedication ceremonies for the new Academy of Science on Deneb 5. But don't get too excited about those ceremonies because Spock suddenly appears in pain
and collapses.
Yeah, he's in pain.
Yeah,
I like how calmly they all take it. You know, in reality, they'd be rushing to his side, but it's like, oh, I think Spock's asleep over on the floor over there.
Now I got a bone to pick with this here. Because Bones was slacking on his damn job there. When they knew that disease was going on there, and they know they got different species with different blood types and everything, shouldn't have done some research to make sure it affects that it's not going to have permanent effects on any of the crew members? And if they did, they should have been making a beeline. If it was good enough, they should have been making a beeline to that planet there a week ago.
But also, Eric's is fine. Eric's is on the bridge. He does a really good job in this episode, actually. But Eric's
Eric's gets his biggest role in this episode.
Yeah, but McCoy, like, everything seems fine with Eric's. Are you going to be like he favors Eric's over Spock?
Well, I think that
what doesn't
here is that this is kind of like a flu, and a kind of in the future here they don't really take it as seriously, and he didn't realize that it was going to be an issue until it was.
Yeah, maybe he didn't know. Maybe he didn't know that the Vulcans were going to interact with it, and maybe it's not because Spock's a Vulcan. Maybe Spock just happened to catch the flu or disease or whatever they're calling it.
And just for the record, this entire episode, I am on McCoy's side.
Mm-hmm.
So
no, I'm throwing Bones under the bus because he should have done his research to make sure that one disease isn't maybe harmless to the humans there, but it can affect the Vulcans a whole different way because they got different
physiology.
Yes.
Well, that's what he discovers when Spock passes out. McCoy discovers that while the disease is harmless to those with iron-based blood, the cryocytosis disease is fatal to those with copper blood, like Vulcans.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that maybe he didn't say anything. I'm thinking maybe they didn't know up till this point that he would have a reaction. Maybe this is how they found out.
Exactly.
Well, I think it's a plot device, basically. I mean, the Federation Medical Database should have had all this recorded that this is bad news for Vulcans, right?
Only if a Vulcan had this previously, but they know.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's a big universe. You think one Vulcan somewhere would have had it.
What did you say the virus?
I think it's just a plot device.
It was a form of pneumonia, which is a form of what do you call it? Suffocation through the lungs, right?
Well,
through fluid.
McCoy says the infection enters the bloodstream and encases the cells, so they can't carry oxygen.
Right, and so it is, and so he's suffocating. But yeah,
I just think I had double pneumonia, so I know exactly what he's talking about. I know what it feels like.
Absolutely.
But
here,
keep going, Scotty.
Well, no, just to conclude, like, I think that, like, throughout this episode, I think it's McCoy confronting new problems that he hadn't anticipated. You know what? Maybe he thought Spock's human half would have been able to repel it, like if there were antibodies for it in that regard. Spock's not going to say, "Hey, Dr. McCoy, I'm not feeling well," because, well, throughout this episode, Spock's dignity is part of the plot.
Well, maybe if,
maintaining him on duty.
It could be a new disease they haven't really been able to study.
And then he finds out. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. Maybe Spock would say something if Bones didn't make jibes at him every day for the last how many years. But anyhow, this opened up they mentioned copper blood. This is my other token F here because I don't get an explanation, and I've been thinking about this ever since for the last hour and a half, 2 hours there. If Vulcans have copper blood and humans have iron-based blood, how the hell can Spock exist there? Because he's half human, half Vulcan. Let alone the fact that Vulcans only get horny once every 7 years, so. Did they just magically line up with fucking his mother there at the same time?
Are you conflating pon farr with being horny and using them synonymously?
Yes.
Well, I'm not a doctor by any means, but here's my question: when you have a mother and a father of two different blood types, they have a kid. Does that mean that kid's going to be one or the other?
They have children.
But if have kids, does that mean the kid's going to be one or the other's blood type, or a combination of both?
It depends on where it lands. But
I haven't the slightest.
But we're talking two different
species, not races.
Not species, but and we're not talking like the AB blood types. They're two different. Like one's copper based, one's iron based.
Species.
And they shouldn't be able to mix together that well.
Charles Tucker III has entered the chat. So is DePaul.
Oh man, I thought that meant citizens here.
Anyway, so Spock's blood is copper based, and so it's suffocating. And but they identify, like Dr. McCoy identifies what's going on with the sitch, and he's like, there's only one drug that'll save him because it is specific to copper based blood. And so yeah, we got to get that double plus quick.
Yes, it's called strobolin, and the closest planet that has it is Beta Canopus.
Canopus?
Canopus.
I've been there. I have a summer home.
They can't get there in time, so they set up a rendezvous. Explained by this captain's log.
Yeah, they had some pointless exposition in this.
Well, okay, the captain's log.
It was
okay. Well, let me give you the
pointless. It's not exposition. It's just that's called that random dialogue.
Okay, so then let me relay this random pointless exposition. Captain's log supplemental. We've arranged to get the strobolin needed to save Mr. Spock's life. The starship Potemkin has already picked up the drug and will transfer it to a freighter, the SS Huron, for delivery to the Enterprise.
Yep.
And here the book has a canon alert. Journey to Babel had a direct influence on Weinstein's script, even included a mention of the conference itself. The USS Potemkin is also mentioned in the episode, which was first seen in the Ultimate Computer.
Nice.
I thought that was pronounced Babel, not Babel.
I thought it was Babel as well.
Babel.
Journey to Babel?
Babel? Because there's only one B?
It's Babel.
Babel.
Right. Babel would be
I think the bigger topic is a lot of people get the idea the wrong way around, even English teachers. All languages are phonetic first and written second. So what we should have is standardized pronunciation and multiple spellings. My forthcoming book, English, How to Do It Proper, will explain more.
Excuse me. Journey to Babel.
Thank you.
Because Babel would be like two B's.
It's pronounced Orion.
Orion.
McCoy describes the symptoms of the disease: increasing tiredness, steadily decreasing efficiency, all the symptoms of working in an oxygen deficient atmosphere, kind of like the test you had to pass at the academy.
Oh yeah, no, I love the Huron. The Huron in this is kind of like a precursor. Oh, sorry.
Yes, sorry.
It's a fantastic design.
Yeah, I like the design.
But there's a plot point. I know. I'm sorry. I'll stop talking.
No, it's okay. It's just maybe I don't even have to explain this part.
No, explain this part. I want it. I want it. Go.
Because of this illness, Kirk cut Spock's duty time in half, which was a clever move, then forcing him off duty altogether, because that would be hard to sell. After discussing these symptoms, I like McCoy's final line in this scene here. He says, "I know, as much as it might seem at times, that I can't stand that pointy-eared encyclopedia. I don't want to see that happen to him."
Right. Exactly. Jibes at him even when he's not there.
Well, but all of us, any of us who's watched the TOS, we know that they really do inside love each other. It's just like a running gag right.
Yeah.
They do honestly care. Been married for 50 years. Just making jibes at each other?
It's not the kind of we hate you jibes. It's just like joking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like a couple who's been together for 50 years.
I liked him before he died.
Because I've seen couples that have been together for 50 years who do that, who hate each other, and the only reason why they're together is only because they've been together, or they have kids.
It's like there's a big difference between sarcasm and hyperbole.
Yeah.
Ones I didn't mean it, and ones I really actually meant it more than I said.
No, pop culture. I was thinking more like Grandma and Grandpa Walton there on the Waltons there. I like how big jibes at each other.
Yeah, but that's just teasing. They do love each other on that show.
Yeah.
So do Spock and McCoy.
Right.
Yeah.
And hail
Well, and we'll
Nemesis
see at
of
the
Eden.
end. It really gets nice.
Yes, hail Nemesis of Eden. So good to see
Nemesis
you.
in
Nemesis, Admiral T.
Nemesis says, hail everyone. Hope you're all doing amazing tonight. Sneaking in while I'm at work. Shh, don't tell anyone. Be careful. We don't want you to get in trouble. And hello, Admiral Teague. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, Nemesis of Eden. I won't tell anybody. And hey to Admiral Teague. I saw your stream earlier. I'll be catching that later.
And Nemesis by silence costs $20.
So here's the Huron.
The Huron.
Huron's pretty
a fine ship.
Now, I got a question though on the Huron.
Sure.
Did they just go to a bunch of 7th graders and ask them to design a starship?
Okay, so here's my theory. Based on the design, of course, it has 2 nacelles. That has been standard in Federation design since forever. It is a cargo ship, so yes, it's going to be little in the middle, but it's got much back. There is going to be a command deck with a limited science capacity in the forward. It's not a full saucer. Okay, so if you imagine the entire saucer at the front of the Huron, that's a handsome ship. But now they don't need the extra decks. It's not very crude and like in terms of CREWED crude.
Oh, nice.
So all of your what's it called? Crew quarters are going to be in the front there. And that pointy thing at the front, that's going to be a more powerful deflector. Like, and I don't mean like shields, but I mean like space debris deflector. So that's clearing things out of its way because, again, it's a cargo ship. You don't want this thing to be destroyed if it's going in a straight line. Let's carve our way through. Then the only thing that I can say that is a little wonky, I don't know what these ski things, I'm assuming that there's an alternate one on the other side. I can only say that those would be their thrusters. And the reason that the thrusters are out there is because, just so it's more maneuverable and based on the size of the ass, which kind of, now that you mention it, looks like it's grinning at me.
I think the entire design was stolen and used in Return of the Jedi. You take off those nacelles, or was it the end of Empire Strikes Back? Take off the nacelles and extend the bit at the bottom. That's an Empire, guaranteed.
I'm seeing a face in there now.
Unfortunately, this was 1974, and Empire Strikes Back.
That's what I mean. They copied it.
I'm sorry. I misheard.
Yeah, is anybody else seeing a face in the back of the ship?
Oh yeah.
Now I do.
I see the teeth there, and the nose, and the 2 eyes.
Yeah, you're welcome.
That was a great description of the ship, Scotty. I enjoyed it.
It's total made it. I made it up.
No, I know you made it up. That's what was so wonderful about it.
I think a 7th grader designed it, though.
I don't think so.
I think it looks nice.
That makes sense. I think it looks wonderful.
I think it looks great.
It's got a larger cargo hatch, so it can take in large loads, which makes sense. That's what looks like the mouth, I think, is where it takes in its cargo.
Yeah. And hey, Dalek.
Hey, Dalek.
Hello, Dalek.
So good to see you, Dalek. Welcome.
Well, this freighter has the strobolin that Spock needs. Its captain is Captain O'Shea, and it's voiced by Jimmy Doohan. The helmsman is voiced by George Takei, and first officer is voiced by Major Barrett.
Oh, sex bots.
My goodness.
Well, yeah, by Major Barrett. I would have smashed him by now, but Gorilla said he's got it, so I'm gonna let him get it.
Yeah, I never
It's
get
funny that it happened when we got to
I'm gonna get him
the
next
other
time.
ship,
I'm letting
the
you go
Huron, and then the Orions showed up.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
So, yeah, they spot a ship And they talk about having all this dilithium, so they just want to get this drug off of their ship.
Okay, well, no, didn't they contact Enterprise? Contacted the Potemkin to bring the drug to this freighter or this cargo ship, not freighter. Well,
Yeah.
it is a freighter.
Yeah.
And
They
so
had another ship take it to the freighter, and then the freighter was going to rendezvous with the Enterprise.
Yeah, they're playing
exactly
about the ship or
because of
whatever
the
you call
distance
it.
involved.
Yes, we're just trying to cut time. So because Spock doesn't have 4 days, he has 3 days. We're all meeting in the middle, and that's what we're doing now. Okay, so the Huron, notice the badges or the emblems on the uniforms. This baffled me because I thought that it had been agreed in the original series eventually that no, it wasn't that every ship had their own emblems, but in the animated series, as represented,
No, that was later on in Trek history that we don't get to see when they finally got to that.
But okay, so was it a production error or was it an actual thing that happened in the universe?
It's something in canon.
It is.
Maybe
different ships had different emblems.
Maybe it's to do with them being a cargo ship.
But I always thought that
maybe cargo ships have a different design.
When you go into the behind the scenes stuff, they always say, "Oh no, that was just mistakes."
Okay, so by the time TNG was on the air, they all had the same.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, by the time you get to the movies, they're all the same.
Yeah. And sorry to hear that, Dalek, and welcome, Just Carol.
Carol.
Hey, Just Carol.
Hey, Carol. So good to see you, Carol. Carol says, hello, I'm here for the whatever this is.
Whatever this
glad you're here. We're glad you're here,
Star
Carol.
Trek's biggest fan right here.
And Dalek, I'm sorry you can't sleep, but I'm glad to see you here.
Yeah.
Dalek, you're so lucky. This is your opportunity, Dalek. Write that novel, Insomnia is Your Friend.
Yeah.
That could
Carol,
be true.
I'm doing most of the bitching, and then they're arguing with me about it. That's what this is.
Gorilla's right, we're all wrong.
Retreasure your arguments.
Carol says, I'm here. I'm high. Blame Scotty. There we go.
Blame Canada.
There's the culprit.
Oh,
yeah, Canada is responsible for a lot of people being high.
True
story.
Well, what
I'm
else
in
is there to do
California,
in
so we
Canada?
get our own high here.
Well, in all fairness, Jill, what else is there to do in Canada?
I don't know.
snap.
I've never been there.
I'd also like to say that based on my nationality, Star Trek the animated series is much better than it would be if I lived in, say, a prohibitive locale.
Yeah, I understand that.
Apart from menthol, you've now got menthol cigarette prohibition in Canada.
I don't even know.
Carol
No,
says,
nowhere is completely free, folks. You can't drink, smoke, and smoke anywhere in the world now. Good
well,
luck,
and
Blake.
I hope for a world where I don't want to smoke, such as in the Federation, commanding the USS Huron. This is, as you said, it's
tell me
James
Captain
Doohan,
Kirk wasn't toking up in the ready room
Takei.
the moment that fucking Bones left the
Scotty,
place. They were knocking back the tequila and the Romulan ale with the wild abandon. I think by the time the 24th century hits, they're going to ditch alcohol for much better inebriants. Come on, Spock, break out the heavy indica. All right, Captain, I already have.
Well, what's unfortunate about that is that they actually downgrade from alcohol to synthahol.
Even
Boo!
worse.
That's an F.
That's another screw up.
Those big babies.
That's what I call mutiny.
But I'm reminded of Samuel Clemens' speech in Time Zero Part 2 with Troy, and it's like, so you're saying you've eliminated all wants? There's no crime. There are no poor anymore. Well, I suppose that is something worth giving up a cigar for.
But no,
Disagree.
but then they go to a replicator and print one anyway.
Oh no, they totally do.
Exactly, replicator. Make me some heroin.
It's a
white.
synthesis cigar.
Well, I guess the way that then we're assuming that even if you're in Star Trek lore and you have a synthesizer in your private quarters, there's probably filters on it, so you can't order certain things.
Oh, come on. No, I'm pretty sure that they would have a vitamin C like hookah.
You know, like, what if I've been there and I say, I want to get high, I want some pot.
Quarters.
You know, it's going to say that's not allowed.
You know
right?
what?
I've got a big organ in my pants.
I can't think of that happening on Star Trek, but that was the case on the Orville, where the kids couldn't get vodka until they could get their parents' codes.
Right. It did have an age lock on it, right?
Yeah.
And Carol, I'm glad you made it home. She said she just got lost going home from the store. It's a straight ride, no turns. And
that just means you went straight for too long.
Yeah, she could have had my roads though, but
overshoot the target.
Now Scotty made me want to have my last cigar here. I can't go get one for a couple days.
First one of the year, man.
Oh, I got it wrong. So she didn't go straight for long enough.
Oh.
So the Huron.
Oh, the Huron. Oh, right. Okay. Back on the Enterprise.
Meanwhile.
Okay, so Kirk wants Scotty to go just a little faster for Spock. And Spock is delayed.
Oh, he looks stoned there. Come on.
He is. It's a very disconcerting moment where it looks like Spock is
heavy indica right there.
Spacing out. Spock is spacing out. And I'm sure that this is what Howard was going for.
Yeah.
Well,
Spock's not here, man. Spock's not here.
Yeah, he had some of Scotty's stuff there.
But
famed laugh.
There was a point in this, pop culture curator, I've been telling you, every time I see something that is sort of like out of whack animation style or lazy or something, I want to point it out. And I've been like, oh, check this out. And so when there's a moment where Spock looks over to Kirk's chair, who has just been on speaker with Dr. McCoy, Spock looks over. You get it from Spock's POV, and he looks over,
right,
and he sees both of them. He sees Kirk and McCoy. And I was like, oh, no, but he wasn't on the bridge at that point. Now, there are some more of those later that are more accurate. But this one was like, oh, no, Spock's so out of it, he saw Dr. McCoy. So it may have been an animation error, but based on what was going on in the scene, I will completely forgive it.
Well, I would say it's probably an error because I don't remember Bones saying anything about hallucinations.
No, but still, he's being suffocated. And look at the... No, but if you're being suffocated, you're going to have... Like, if you're slowly suffocated, hey...
Yeah.
Well, no, I don't mean with, like, a towel. I'm not...
things. Okay.
Yeah.
I was going for autoerotic.
Well, I think what I think would have helped...
What
I think would have helped, and I learned, like I said, because I had pneumonia, it would have helped a little more if they asked...
harder, Captain.
I was very tired. I couldn't stand for long, and they should have showed him tiring. And it was hard. I was losing breath very easily. So they could have showed a little bit of that, because Spock, other than that, he looks healthy most of the time.
Definitely, I agree. They just have him looking normal, and then he falls over every once in a while.
Yeah, that's the animation. Yeah, they didn't want to change the detail on his face, I guess.
That is pretty much how they describe this disease.
The Huron ship discovers that the mysterious ship is a design they've never seen before, and it looks like this.
Very cool. What do you think about that, Gorilla? What do you think about that design?
Oh, look, it's the OSS claw machine. And the OSS stands for Orion Slave Ship Claw Machine.
Orion.
I have to ask, do they mention Orions in any future Trek iterations?
Yes, every single one of them. They had a
Gorilla's hard to play.
They had a whole
thing
Ferrari on the Orion Syndicate. They had a whole storyline on in Enterprise on the Orion Syndicate there, and Kirk slept with a couple of Orions.
Well, okay, so that's what I was going to ask. So what about the men? Are they green men, or are they like in this episode here?
They're kind of blue.
That's what I thought. In this episode, they're blue.
Well, you'd be upset too if Kirk was sleeping with your women, and then they're green with them too.
They kind of look like bats.
Well, they don't look anything like the green slave girls, that's for sure.
I kind of liked it as a almost precursor to the Bird of Prey, like the Klingon Bird of Prey from the movie.
It does kind of.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Nemesis of Edens. Oh, sorry. Admiral Teague says the COVID is so much worse at night. This is soothing me. Thanks. We're glad we can help in one way or another, Admiral. Nemesis
Hang in there,
says,
Admiral.
Get well
Yes.
soon.
The COVID comes out at night mostly.
I'm
Yeah,
working
give
at
it
the
to me so I
cannabis.
can do a
Oh,
couple days
wow.
of work paid.
Nemesis has the job that I want. I'm working at the cannabis shop right now, so I'm contributing to Canada's highness.
Oh my stars! Put on Ferris Bueller's Day Off on the local screen.
Oh, I'd say put on Cheech and Chong.
No, but you got to put on something that's accessible so that everybody knows they can relax. You don't put on
if they're in a place to get high, they need to learn who Cheech and Chong is. That's part of it.
But you never put on Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas in a Coke den. Anyway,
then
sorry, moving on.
No, you got to put on half-baked. Half-baked.
We were 2 parsecs out of Vulcan when the bat started to take hold.
Precisely. Put on Half-Baked. Put on what's it?
Monty
You know what?
Python,
Put on
Holy
Star
Grail.
Trek the animated series right now.
Yes, I agree with that last one. So this ship is going to reach the Huron before the Enterprise does.
Wait, Carol says.
Carol says, "Go ahead, Scotty."
No, please, after you.
Carol in the chat says, "I see a cat with a ninja man beard, and it has whiskers that are too big for its face."
It's a Rorschach.
Wow!
I see that now too.
That's pretty good, Carol.
I'm not
That's
even
great.
Yeah.
I see a pretty butterfly.
Admiral
I see a
says,
claw
"Please,
machine.
guys." Yellow
Nobody
triangle
knows
is its
that
nose,
that's
says
the claw
Carol.
machine. That's the claw machine.
And the cat is smiling.
I think, yeah, it looks very intimidating, so it fits that they're pirates.
Mm-hmm. And with no Dorothy Fontana around and Jean's presence sparse, I'm pretty stunned that this teenager, this Weinstein, Howard, he wrote the following dialogue because I think it captures Spock and McCoy's relationship pretty well. He says, "This won't hurt a bit, Spock." And Spock says, "An unnecessary assurance, Doctor, in addition to being untrue." McCoy says, "That's the last time I waste my bedside manner on a Vulcan." And Spock says,
Right.
"Such restraint would be welcome."
Yeah, it was good dialogue.
And
you notice the shot doesn't have the hiss sound.
The hiss. Oh yeah, with the hypo spray. You're right.
Yeah.
I kind of forgive the animated series for never really getting the sound effects all the way right all the time.
I agree.
Like later on, they use a tricorder, and I'm like, good try.
Right. Definitely, the sounds are not quite there. Carol says it has a devious
Actually, it
smile.
should be the opposite. You should forgive them for the visuals, but not for the lack of sound effects. They should just get them from the audio department from the live action, though.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to complain to management.
Well, it's a different audio department. This is Filmation, and that was NBC or Disney.
Oh, it's a different department. If I was running that ship, they get those sound effects up to that department pronto.
Yeah, that would be one of the things I would have stipulated. And by the way, like Jill was mentioning that DC Fontana moved on the television writing. I've been rewatching The $6 Million Man, and sure enough, her name's popping all over the episodes. She wrote several of them, among other things.
$42 million man now with inflation.
I think I'd have to do the math.
I really like, you know what, and I'm just looking at this this cell, I suppose, is I appreciate the fact that it was in 3 dimensions because the screen itself isn't like flat. And I never noticed until actually considering what it was. Like this actually, it looks like that screen is pointing in that direction, but it's a mathematical thing that I've seen a million times, like based on sound or whatever. And like I've said it, I think I said it in the last episode. Like I give crap to this this show for not necessarily, or people do. I do as well, but for being not necessarily the best animated show on the planet. But like that's a hard thing to do. It's like when you draw a perfect circle kind of thing.
And like we said, I mean, you can compare it to other affair at the time, but the Cosby Kids, right? Scooby Doo,
sure,
Hong Kong Phooey, Captain Caveman.
Hong Kong Phooey, now you're talking.
Now we're talking. Well, and at the same time, you had Battle of the Planets. You had Like the early 70s was a heyday for animation. Everyone
It
was trying to
was.
catch.
Yeah.
And that's when they had a lot of superhero cartoons. We had Spider-Man, we had Superman, and all that stuff.
You know, and
Super Friends.
when we finally see the Orions, I was like, did I see them on an episode of Spider-Man once, like from the 60s, like the 67 collector? Yeah, I was just like,
I would
wait
not
a
be
second.
surprised.
Third season Spider-Man, again made by Filmation, is absolutely wackadoo. It is under the like ground. They just take the basic animation of Spider-Man to every planet possible.
Yes. Stokely says Pirates.
That's my favorite band from Punxsutawney.
So,
Sorry,
Gorilla, what do
Yeah.
you think so far about the episode? And by the way, as far as the animation is concerned, I think this is trying to look like an oscilloscope.
I don't know. I bet you about a lot of things about this episode tonight.
Okay. Does it seem like it's getting any better since we've been explaining it, or worse?
I don't know. Because
About the same.
About the same. By the way, everybody, Jill had to step away. She'll be back shortly.
Yes.
That's that big silence that we're all not noticing or hearing or noticing that that's that big silence. So as soon as she comes back, we'll continue.
Right now, we're admiring the oscilloscope thank you for reminding me of what this is, to the sounds of "In the Garden of Eden, honey, don't you know?" No, wait.
I just looked it up, and tell me if this is right, guys. It says this episode marks the last appearance of the Orions in the Star Trek franchise until Star Trek Enterprise Borderland.
no.
So that's wrong.
What's the source? Pop culture.
I thought we seen the Ryans in TNG.
Which episode?
Well, my next question was going to be: then, did we ever see the Orion ship like the one we see here in this episode?
No, we never. No, we never see an Orion ship. Oh wait, there's an Orion. There's some sort of syndicate that happens in Deep Space Nine, but you never see an Orion slave girl. You don't see Orion men until until Enterprise.
That's too bad we didn't get an Orion ship because it looks pretty badass. That would have been nice to see that live action.
Hey guys, I'm back.
Hey Jill.
I just had to leave. Yeah, I left. I had to go deflate the bouncy house.
Oh, that's fine.
That's something that Scotty said.
That's got to be a euphemism.
Screaming.
It sounds like one.
If that's not a euphemism, it should be.
Bouncy.
So anyway, can we stop looking at this particular? Oh no.
Okay. Well, the reason why is that I have to say that Chapel notes that the drug is no longer working.
Okay.
And McCoy is banking on the strobolin arriving soon.
Right, but they didn't tell Spock that. Right, they did not tell Spock that it wasn't working. Though they waited till he left before they said that.
And then the Huron sends an emergency.
Oh,
signal.
Carol.
Hey.
I am insufferable.
I'm conflicted with that comment because I like one of the messages.
Both of you guys. So
no, but I like Jill more than I like me, so it's cool.
Carol says LOL.
The Huron ship sends an emergency signal about the unidentified alien vessel, who sends them a message. They say, "Prepare to surrender your cargo or be destroyed." You know. And it's really no spoiler to find out that, yes, they successfully seized the Huron's cargo with the dilithium and the strobolin, which is what the Orions are really after.
Are they after the strobolin? I thought they just wanted
they're
dilithium.
really. They only want the dilithium. I said it out of order.
Strike that. Reverse it.
Well, but they happen to take both, right? They only want the dilithium, but they happen to take the other as well, right? They just took everything.
Well, and also they're not supposed to be messing with this this piracy gig anyway. So like they're just they're disrupting galactic peace. These gentlemen are.
Right.
They are. Uhura receives the emergency signal from the Huron and discovers they've been attacked. And Spock passes out again. And Kirk, Scotty, Chapel, and Uhura beam over to the Huron ship to see that their cargo, including the drug they need, has been stolen.
Mm-hmm.
And Captain O'Shea needs surgery, but he'll live.
Wait, go back.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay. What did you have, Pop Culture Curator?
I was gonna say they did definitely specifically did not mention why the captain needed surgery. I'm guessing he was tortured.
Oh, I didn't even consider that.
Yeah, because this is a Saturday morning cartoon. So instead of, they didn't even say what was wrong with him. They didn't say like, well, he's got a broken hand or a neck or, they just said he needs surgery. So I'm guessing he was tortured. And that's how they got away with the cargo.
I was very curious about that particular statement from Nurse Chapel. It's like, how's the captain? He needs surgery, but he'll live. And it's like, wait, I need more qualifiers on that one.
I'd be like, what? Surgery? What?
What for what? What does he need surgery for?
That's possibly the case. He probably, you know what? I wish we should ask Weinstein if he remembers.
He's still alive.
He's young enough.
He was a young man. Yeah.
What ain't he in jail?
Wait. Okay, so but here's what
that's a different Weinstein.
The author.
Oh,
here's what I wanted to say. Here's what I wanted to ask. Okay. So I watched this.
Yeah, that was Harvey Weinstein. Yes.
So
no,
it's
Howard.
Oh, jeez.
Howard, the sweet man with the puppy I showed earlier.
Yeah,
right, that was not
Harvey.
Right, that's not the Harvey we all know and love.
Well, he loved you. Moving on. So we have Kirk, Scotty, Uhura, and Chapel. And so I was like, what are you going to do with these guys? So Kirk says, Scotty, you go down to the cargo hold, find the drug, see if the dilithium is still there. Then says Uhura, and I was like, really? You're going to send Scotty down there? It seems like you should have brought someone else, like just one more person to go do that.
The security detail would have been nice.
Well, no, one security guy to go and scope, because I would have put Scotty on get the life support working again better.
Well, the fact that before they beamed over, they knew the ship had been attacked. So
yes.
Security should have been the highest regard. But I can forgive it. So that's how you get drama. You don't want to be too safe, because then you won't have the drama.
Fair enough. So then you get Uhura checking the logs to find out what the situation was. And then the favorite, and I was like, okay, so that makes sense, because you got Uhura doing the logs. And then he goes, and Chapel, attend to the wounded. And I was like, oh, it all makes sense now. It's still about the people around him. It's not necessarily about the, situation. So I'm glad that he brought, help for the people. Although I don't know why the captain needs surgery.
Me neither.
They need to remove his beard.
Carol says, on a scale of Scotty to Jill.
What's her name?
And Nemesis of Eden says, the Emerald Syndicate sounds familiar, but that could be from Discovery.
There was something that O'Brien was a part of with Bilby.
That was the Orion Syndicate, and what happened with that is he was working for intelligence, because there was a leak inside the intelligence community, and they're trying to figure out who it was. So they brought in someone from the outside there that they wouldn't recognize to find out who the leak is from.
And that's why they killed Bilby.
Well, Bilby died because he didn't want his family killed for vouching for O'Brien. He vouched for O'Brien, saying he was one of the syndicate there. So basically, Bilby put his life on the line for O'Brien there, and if he didn't go through with it, his whole family would have been killed.
Gorilla, can you give me a hug?
Oh, you gotta come over here, because I'm not driving anymore tonight.
Fair enough. Me either. So anyway, so
virtual
Spock,
hug. Virtual hug.
Sorry, Scotty is called back to the bridge, and we're still dealing with. You know what? Look at how tender and loving Nurse Chapel, Christine. They're there, boy. They're there.
Yeah, so Captain O'Shea needs surgery, and it's Spock who is still in trouble. He has 24 hours. Uhura's going to take the tapes back for Eric's to look over. And we get the next captain's log, stardate 6335.6. The Huron has been left as space junk. Its engine sabotaged.
Oh, sabotaged.
Oh, so they're back to the 20th century there. Let's just leave our shit laying around in space.
Oh my God. What
Captain O'Shea has no idea who attacked his ship, but the intruder must be found and the precious cargo retrieved.
I love that. Like, now that I get a broadside look at it, that is a chunky Federation cargo ship.
I think it looks great. It does look like a cargo ship. And Scogli says, yeah, the green bitch boss fight with Michael at the end of the last season of Discovery was definitely the Orion Syndicate. Unfortunately, I missed that. I don't watch Discovery. And Scogli says they showed up in a strange new world as well in an absolutely ridiculously cartoon-like episode. The Orion captain was basically a green dwarf with an Irish accent. Oh, and
Wow.
it never gets surprised on how bad that show sounds. Every time you hear it, it's worse and worse. Scogli and red hair. So little green person with red hair. Okay.
Green leprechauns.
So I enjoy the.
It's magically delicious.
Oh, I'll take a pass on that one. Boy.
That was not a good episode either. They just stuffed the captain on that ship over there just to get him out of the way so that the rest of the crew can.
McCoy's Lucky Charms, they're magically delicious.
Anyway, I don't want to talk about that show. I want to talk about this show. I'm sorry.
I'm really
sorry,
happy that I'm not even responsible for the filth this time.
But we do love to have you here, Scogli.
True story.
Eric's ran the Huron sensor tapes that Uhura found. It shows that the intruder ship is a new design, not seen before, just like the Huron said earlier. It leaves a trail of radioactive waste, so it's easy to follow along the radioactive waste. They chase the ship at warp 7 and then later increase to warp 8. McCoy says that Spock is doing so poorly that he'll have to put a respirator on him to help him breathe soon. Following the ship leads them to an explosive asteroid belt, and which they find out pretty soon once things start exploding around them. There's the asteroid belt.
Very cool. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, colorful.
And Eric's. Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, not
what
at all.
What does it look like?
He kind of looks like either cereal or Nerds. Did you ever have those little candies, Nerds?
Candies?
Yeah. I love eating Nerds.
Well, let me ask you guys a question. In TOS, were there any episodes from what you guys can recollect? Were there any episodes where one ship hid inside of an asteroid field to hide from another one?
Not hidden, but there's the booby trap where
it happens so many times.
But I'm thinking, how many times did it happen before this episode? Is what I'm wondering. I know I've seen it plenty times after. We saw it in Star Wars. I mean, all this stuff. Mm-hmm. But what about before this episode?
That's a good question. I don't think I'd seen it before.
No, before it was nebulas.
Yeah, but because they use it they use it a lot extensively in Star Wars, right, guys? Several times they used it. So I was just now thinking, I think Empire. Right, especially in Empire, right? So I'm thinking this might be the first time.
One of them was a potato.
Right. But I could be wrong, but I think it's the first time we've ever seen that, where somebody by trying to elude another ship hides within an asteroid field.
Well, and again, we have to remember the year that this was produced, 1970 what?
It's 4?
4.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay.
Oh, hey, Lemon Pie.
Lemon
pie.
And here Right, and here you have exploding asteroids, and you have exploding mines in Galaxy Quest.
That was so. You know what? I really appreciated the fact that, like, the only thing that really would make these asteroids blow up is that if they hit each other.
And that's what they do. That's what they explained in this episode.
But then yes, then the Orions,
Right.
yeah.
This is the point where Eric says that it's an Orion ship. He recognizes the markings as an Orion ship.
Orions have layers, like onions.
The book has something about this. It says, they say Orion, others say Orion. Noteworthy in the Pirates of Orion was the mispronunciation of the word Orion, which is surprising considering it was not new to the Star Trek lexicon, especially for the actors. Reasons for the faux pas have been attributed to the person who typed the phonetic spellings on the script, and the fact that several of the actors would call in their performances over the phone rather than come into the studio. Even Weinstein.
They literally phoned it in.
And then the other thing, I was thinking, I don't remember ever hearing about scripts being written out phonetically.
Plus, if your job, I gave you one job, write it out phonetically, then they got it right. That was their one job, to clarify the pronunciation and the emphasis on the right part of the syllable.
And I wanted to say, hello, Lemon Pie. So good to see you there. Lemon Pie says Jill, Captain, Scotty, and Scogly. Matt G. And Matt G. Lemon Pie says Orion and Orion and pepperoni on pizza. OMG LOL, says Matt G.
There were a couple of times during this episode, and I was like, okay, first episode, second season. You know what? DeForest Kelley sounds drunk.
Maybe he did his lines a little too late at night.
Whatever. I'm not judging.
Well, hopefully he's a happy drunk.
Well, even Weinstein is not exactly sure why it occurred. He says fans have been asking that for 40 plus years.
Oh my God, poor guy. He's probably heard it 1,000,000 times.
And the question always makes me laugh because I wondered the same thing when I first saw the show in 1974.
Right, think about it. So when he wrote the story, he was thinking Orion in his head.
Yeah. These guys know how to pronounce Orion.
He's probably like, what? I'm sure he's all excited when this was sitting there getting ready to air on TV. And he's all excited and he hears that. He's like, what?
And since he didn't double check with the actors there, that's why it's getting an F.
Okay, so now that we see the Orions, I absolutely love these these villains. This is the first time in the animated series where we've seen the antagonism from the perspective of just bad guys. And these are all great. I love the Orions.
They do look like super villains with those costumes.
Yeah.
They do. But their uniforms are green.
Yes.
Yeah, no, they look goofy as hell. But I like the characterization.
I know.
Oh, this here, I'm gonna have a big complaint with this here.
I bet.
Well, this is where they bring in some diplomacy here and duplicity, where the Orions are supposed to be neutral, but obviously they're not. Kirk explains it pretty well. He says, Orion's neutrality has been in dispute ever since the affair regarding the Coridian planets and the Babel Conference of Stardate 3850.3.
Corridon.
Yes, Corridon.
Pardon me.
Excuse me. Corridon planets.
Specificity. I apologize.
I don't know how to pronounce. I'm sorry.
No.
Yesterday, a Federation freighter was attacked in this quadrant. Its cargo hijacked. As the first alien ship encountered, we require you to submit to search. As per Babel Resolution A12, reply.
Makes sense.
And obviously they don't submit to a search, but sensors confirm they at least have the dilithium. But the drug the drug is too small to scan. And Kirk is even willing to let the Orions have the dilithium if they can send over the drug. But the Orions say that they can't trust Kirk, so they have to have the exchange face to face.
Well, that's cool that they got the shot of the Orion view screen.
It
Like,
did. I like that too.
Yeah. No, there's something about this episode. Like, it just sort of it goes quickly, but I really enjoy it because it just feels like an action-packed start. Yeah, this is so great. Everything about this makes me happy.
But the Orions, they have a specific duty that they don't tell Captain Kirk about. And they say that the Orion says Orion's official neutrality comes before this ship or its crew. We can't take Kirk's word that he won't report this incident to Starfleet. So because of this, they decide they must destroy both their ship and the Enterprise using the explosive asteroids.
Right. Which is, justified by a reason that we find out later culturally, that any failed mission that the Orions happen to pursue, if they fail, you must, are we allowed? Like, they say it in the episode. Every mission is a suicide mission.
All right. You want to know what my complaint with this whole exchange is? They do that. The Ryans are so worried about their neutrality, but they don't keep their people in check. And then Kirk doesn't even negotiate. He doesn't negotiate. We'll let you keep everything you want. We'll even give you extra shit. When he should have gone, either give us our shit back or we'll blow you out of the fucking sky there.
Well, but again, how do you?
Oh, I just noticed my screen is not showing.
No, I think Pop Culture is showing us something.
I paused it for a moment. Scogli,
okay.
Scogli sent us this. This is, I guess, what the Orions look like, unfortunately.
I liked it when he looked like the Big Show.
So if that's the case, then that's sad, yes. Sorry, there you go ahead, Jill. Thank you, Scogli, for sending that.
Thank you, Scogli, for that.
That didn't bother me at all.
Horrific.
And Lemon Pie says, one of these days, I'll watch the relevant episode before the stream. Yes, we advise that if you guys are able to watch the episode before we review it, it might help you understand a little better. If you're not able to watch it wherever you are, let us know. Maybe we can arrange some watch parties or something. Because I have it. I'm willing to do a watch party beforehand. But thank you for that.
I can arrange a party.
Yep, I can do that too. Nemesis of Eden says that Pop Culture, you should add a haven't seen it option to your polls or something. I still like to be able to interact with, even if I haven't seen the episodes, which is 99% of the time. See, that's it. Even if you have not seen it, I do encourage you to come and still come to our streams. I just hope I don't ruin it for you, because if you haven't seen it and then watch our review first, I hope that doesn't ruin the experience at all. But everybody's welcome, whether you've seen it or not.
And I would like to say that I am watching it, Pop Culture Curator, every episode that we have watched. I think that I've seen two before. I think I've seen 2 episodes of this show before. And both of those we've already watched. I'm going through it with you. If you are a Star Trek fan and you do not like what's going on right now, check out this show. It is new old Star Trek. And yes, it takes some getting used to, but tell me about a Star Trek that doesn't. And this one is something that has the traditional stories, the characters, the interactions. People are doing their jobs. And if you haven't seen it, the reason that we talk about it, like, I apologize for spoilers, the reason that I'm excited about having these shows, and I'm sad, yes, I'm missing it while it's still going on. But yeah, if there's only 5 more episodes, I'm going to be like, oh, well, that's it. I've used up all of the old Star Trek. I guess I'm going to have to watch Voyager now.
And it's still miles ahead of the new garbage that Paramount is producing. And when you think about it, you compare it to the so-called Star Trek cartoons. Those are drawn for kids and idiots.
I'm kind of curious about Prodigy. I'm curious.
I'm separating the two because kids are not idiots. But I think
idiots aren't always kids.
But the fact that the writing level has to be infantile because that's the writing level of the writers of those shows.
But when it comes to these last 5 episodes of the original animated series, I'm super jazzed. I'm having a good time. And if you haven't seen these, I would recommend so far, sometimes you're going to fall asleep. Sometimes you're going to be on the edge of your seat.
Well, they're only 22 minutes, so I think you'll be able to stay awake. But it's
there have been a couple of episodes where I had to watch them twice.
Okay, well that's fine. But I want everyone to be able to enjoy it, and if we need to do a watch party, I do not mind that in the least, and that can always be arranged. So let me know if you're somewhere where you don't have. Yeah, it is a fantastic one, isn't it? That looks like a painting. I could love to have that on my wall.
Jill, is that a screenshot you took?
Yes.
Can you send that?
Sure, I will. Thanks. Send it to you. You're welcome.
Yeah, it's the same one I used for the thumbnail for the stream. It's like, that is fantastic.
I would have used this for the thumbnail too.
I kind of want to. Oh my god! I want to put a Klingon bird of prey in there. Hell, I'd do a Romulan warbird.
I'd do a Romulan too.
That's just great in terms of the animation and the depth of field and the ships. I like it. I wish the Orion ship stood out a bit more, but anyway, lovely. Meanwhile, back on where's this pointy crevice?
It's an asteroid. With this deception in place, the two captains beam down with those cool life support belts.
Yeah.
And
which was an obvious trap that Kirk should have known was a trap.
Well, they did. They acknowledged that it would be a trap, and they said that Scotty needs to keep a hold on Kirk's positioning so they can beam him out.
Right.
When there's trouble.
I must have missed that part when I was flipping off that driver.
Oh, well, the next time, try not to watch it while you're driving.
I wasn't watching it. I was listening.
Oh, okay.
I was yelling at you at the driver there, flipping him off at the time, maybe.
Right, because basically they said he wanted Scotty to keep an eye on him with the transporter, but he said, but we've got to risk it because otherwise Spock will die.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who played the voice of the Orion captain?
Scotty.
Yes.
James Doohan.
Yeah, no, but Pop Culture, don't you remember me telling you that the only way I've been able to get my kid to watch this was to put it on while we're driving while I'm driving home so that he'd actually have, because he has nothing else to distract him with.
Okay, gotcha. So, yeah, well, as long as it works, any way you get him to watch it, I agree.
Yeah.
That's pretty great. That's a good idea. Star Trek in the car.
And
but just for the
Gorilla,
kids,
what
you don't
should
watch
I use?
it.
Car Trek.
We have a question for you, Gorilla. Skogly's asking you, what should I use for a watch party?
For a watch party, I use Cosby.
Princess Bride.
Wait, he's wanting to do a watch party?
Yeah, I think he means the Cosme.
Yeah, I don't know if it. Yeah, because I use Cosby just because it's easy to use, and plus I always seem to have problems with side tube.
I like Cosme too. I haven't tried the others.
Boy, I'm really primitive. I just pop in a DVD and press play and put on the headphones or mute the sound, and then everyone else just buy Blu-ray.
And for Skogly, for your information, KOSMI.io.
Oh, it's my turn.
Yeah, my phone's dead. I don't know where my charger is.
Oh, wow. We're getting attacked again.
That's why
I think I blocked that exact same one.
You're welcome.
Well, I swear I blocked that exact same one.
Oh, she came around again.
Well,
60 mega.
They make new accounts. They make
no, but
anyhow.
Do I get to see these force field people fight or what?
The Orion
I have your drug, Captain.
He can't, since he can't let Kirk report this to Starfleet, he has to destroy the Enterprise. So the Orion explains this.
But you will destroy your ship as well.
Mm-hmm.
Every mission, every Orion mission is a suicide mission. Kirk.
Yeah, and then they fight.
They fight. Beam, beam, beam. Fight.
Okay, well, I missed.
And also, it's not Kyle this time, because remember Kyle had the mustache.
I know. I was so excited. The mustache was missing.
Well, no, but it's not Kyle now.
Yeah, it's not Kyle. It's some other lieutenant.
Some guy named Daryl.
Yeah, somebody finally woke up and said, "Hey, maybe we should get rid of the stash."
So I missed getting a picture of Scotty in the captain's chair, but Scotty realizes the dilithium is down there, and he pinpoints on it. It's very smart of him to realize this and beam it up so that beam the crystals up, so that by the time the Orion finally breaks free from Kirk and tries to blow up his ship, nothing happens.
Right.
And you're welcome, Scogli.
So Scotty saves the Enterprise at that point.
Once again.
And then this guy beams both captains up.
What's his name? Is that Mr. Leslie?
I don't know.
Who's got chocolates and where's mine?
You have the
Someone's
chocolates,
got
Captain.
a box of chocolates or something.
That was my mistake. I apologize.
I've eaten all chocolate. I'm down to alcohol-free champagne.
Oh, what's
that? Have you got any for me? Any miss? What you got? Who's on?
I have alcohol-free water or alcohol-free vodka, which is what people call water.
Alcohol-free.
Whatever. I'm watching Star Trek. Leave me alone. I'm allowed to.
Living Pie says, "Darn, I wanted to find love. Too bad you hit that bot." And Scogli says, "Neil Breen watch party coming up." LOL. And Lemon Pie says, "Breen, haha." Anybody who watches Red Letter Media, you know who Neil Breen is.
So, discovering their captain has been captured, the first officer of the Orion ship.
So crazy.
His ship to self-destruct.
Right. And Kirk leaps to action in this particular situation and is like, hail them. Doesn't matter what happens. You're either not going to die and stand trial for the crimes that you have committed, or it doesn't matter. Either way, your crew is going to die. So stop your crew from dying, and let's just get out of here. Now that
if it was me, I would have had to have added the line, "I'm not going to let you just kill yourself like coward." I would call them cowards, though.
Oh, coward is a good one.
Right. Yeah. I would say like a coward. You're not going to escape like a coward. I'm not going to let you commit suicide, is what I'm saying. And suicide, another way, that's another heavy theme, guys, for early Saturday morning cartoon.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, trust a high schooler to not talk down to the other kids.
Oh, yes.
The Orion captain is about to take a self-deletion pill when Kirk has security stop him from doing that. Then he gets the Orion ship to stop its self-destruct by reasoning that the Orion captain will have to stand trial whether his crew destroys themselves or not. And that works. And they have a captain's log. Stardate 6336.2. The Orion crew is in our brig, their ship in tow, and the Enterprise is back on course for Deneb 5. And that's the episode. They have a funny thing, but it wasn't that funny.
Well,
got it in with a joke. Got it in with a not funny joke. And Lemon Pie says 0 proof vodka. And no vodka here, says Scogli. And Nemesis Bean says, yes, I'm down for a Neil Breen watch party.
And the book has some. Oh, okay. Go ahead.
The ending funny part is kind of funny. And again, you said through extrapolation of character development, because you said that Mr. Weinstein said or actually characterized McCoy and Spock rather well.
Yeah, he did.
And so the ending of the episode, when
it was good.
It's right. McCoy standing there and he's like, all right, just say it. Just say it. And they never say it. And and Spock is like, I will not acknowledge. I am still very pleased that our physiology differs. And Kirk walks in and is like, so is everything going all right? And McCoy is just like, he won't admit, and he's basically inferring that the green blood of a Vulcan is inferior. This is a racist argument that is going on.
McCoy says, Spock, that green blood of yours may have saved you before, but this time it almost did you in. You can't deny it.
Yes. And then Kirk walks in and diffuses the situation and says, well, it looks like everything is back to normal. Okay,
I guess that ending was better than I was thinking.
I liked it as character development. I thought it was kind of cute and hokey.
Did anybody notice there was an error though in the end, the funny end scene where they were all in sick bay, and then there's a shot where suddenly I think it's
They're
on the bridge.
Yes,
and it's like, what?
Good eye.
Yeah, that was kind of takes you out of the episode a bit.
It does. Yeah, well, it has its warts and all. Yes, I agree.
That's a good way to put it. I forgive it.
And,
I mean, it's still a good episode, though.
Yeah, the book does have a couple more things. It says something for the kids. Death was a topic visited frequently on TOS. Fans to this day still display incredible glee, recalling the number of retro crewmen to perish on screen, spoofed many times on other shows and films. However, Saturday morning television's audience was a little different from a primetime crowd. In fact, only one episode of TAS, The Slaver Weapon, had characters die, and the audience never saw people actually killed. Although an Orion spy suicide attempt was shown first in Journey to Babel, Weinstein thought it made sense if the decision was a cultural one, followed not only by its military, but also its pirates. Weinstein actually wrote 4 different endings, 3 of which saw either the Orion captain with his crew or just the crew perish. The ending ultimately used made sense, considering the viewers were kids sitting in their pajamas eating cereal.
Right.
Scheimer liked the 3rd ending overall, which
That's how I watched it.
Which showed the Orion captain destroying his own ship. But he figured NBC would not like all those people, even bad guys, dying on Saturday morning TV.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And then there's some fascinating and whoops stuff here. It says here, because the Huron was a freighter, its Starfleet crew's uniform insignias were different than the Enterprise crew's, as well as those seen on the surviving members of the USS Ariel in The Eye of the Beholder. Producer Bob Justman wrote a memo explaining the difference during his tenure on TOS. This episode marked the first visual appearance of Orion males, as well as an Orion ship. In Journey to Babel, both were present, but the ship was never seen clearly, and the Orion male was in disguise as an Andorian. Then, for the mistakes in the episode, when Spock collapses at his station, Kirk calls a medical emergency to sickbay, even though McCoy is standing right next to him. I think that's what Gorilla was saying earlier.
Scotty pointed it out.
Oh, Scotty did. Another McCoy on the ship. Another McCoy on the bridge mistake happens when Bones calls him from sickbay to inform Spock it's time for another shot. The doctor is actually standing next to Kirk on the bridge.
That was the one I interpreted. I didn't know that it had happened previously. If they did it twice, then shame on them.
Then Kirk, Spock, and McCoy's final scene begins in sickbay and then suddenly switches to the bridge after a close-up, which is what Pleasant Valley Picker noticed.
Some glaring continuity problems.
Finally, on screen, the ship's hull markings read USS Huron. However, in dialogue and in the script, it is called the SS Huron.
Yes, I did notice that.
Question though, didn't they say that the Potemkin was going to be delivering it?
Potemkin was going to be taking it from the original colony to the Huron, and the Huron was going to intercept, or the Enterprise was going to intercept the Huron.
Now, wouldn't it have been faster to have the Starship deliver it instead of a cargo ship? Because the Starships are way faster than the cargo ships.
So you're saying the Potemkin?
We did, yeah, exactly. The Potemkin is a Constitution-class starship. They just diverted its entire mission based on what was essentially the first leg of a cargo mission. That's kind of an inconvenience for whatever the Potemkin was doing.
Well, it's an inconvenience for the Huron, too.
The Huron is a lesser class of starship than a Constitution. The Potemkin, Constitution class, they're important. They, like, resources have been spent, and I'm pretty sure Captain Beardo McVampire, or whatever he was.
You talking about me?
No, not you. What? I will tell you that. You're many things, but you're not Beardo McVampire. So Captain O'Shea. No, Captain O'Shea is used to get, like, that's when, like, Captain O'Shea is like, we got to get this. Did they know how much dilithium we're carrying, and now they want us to carry drugs? Fine. Then we'll divert so that another Constitution. Oh, it's the Enterprise? And I'm sure they don't care. It's like, we're on our way to, where was the Huron on their way to?
Yeah, and I thought this was a very lovely, straightforward Star Trek episode. Not very deep or anything, but it focused on the family aspect of the crew and how they'll do anything for each other. And it's really cool that it was written by someone so young. It was written with a lot of heart and also ambition, taking the adult theme of the suicide from the journey to Babel and bringing it into a Saturday morning cartoon.
I thought this was rough and tough.
Sorry, it's not even relevant. I just want to say my ex-wife just came in with some sausages. Just best divorce
I'll take
ever.
2. Yeah,
and because of that, I give it a B+.
A B+. When I was a kid growing up, I always wished that I could have written a story for Star Trek. I thought about it so many times. I just didn't think that they took submissions from the public.
They did.
Well, yeah, I look at it now and say, yeah, but unfortunately, it's too late. They don't take them anymore from the public.
Yeah, that's how Ronald D. Moore got his job.
Wow.
Well, you have to be. Well, when I went to the conventions, people were asking them, and they said, if you're a published writer, then we'll look at your scripts. But if you're not, we won't. So you had to already be published somewhere.
Well, then they could kiss my ass.
Oh, then publish it there.
There was a renaissance. There was something that was so revolutionary about the Star Trek writing process in The Next Generation, where they had open, like, unsolicited script submissions, and that's where you get people like Ronald D. Moore and Brannon Braga.
And they essentially, right, and they knew it when they were running out of ideas is why they did it. But now they don't care because it's an agenda, and they all have the same agenda, so it's easy.
But Brannon Braga and Ronald D. Moore, when they got into Star Trek, they were huge. That they wanted to write for Star Trek, and they did it well.
I think, but they should have still had a little more variety. I thought they did too much. Captain Finity, would you like to read this in the chat? Captain Finity,
nothing without the chat.
Would you like to read this from Captain Finity in the chat, Captain Finity?
Yes, it's speaker implies, listener infers. I didn't want to. I actually learned that from a comic book of all things, but it was a common misconception made. I thought I'd just drop that in, but didn't want to interrupt the flow. It doesn't matter. It's just
it's a good observation.
Yes, it is. It totally makes sense. Well, look, Skogley's comment is implies infers.
Oh, Venus infers. In fact, I've got Mars implies, Venus infers. Come on.
That's some good wordplay.
Okay, so Gorilla, tell us, what would you? Oh, by the way, everybody out there in the chat, if you are with us for the stream, please feel free to vote if you would like, and give us, like I said, please leave a comment after the stream, and I'll be closing the poll here in a minute as soon as we wrap up our reviews. Gorilla, what would you think about this episode? Well, I think I might know the answer, but surprise me. What's your rating for your grade for this episode?
I'm still hung up on Surak and Amanda there being able to conceive Spock there, even though they had two different kinds of blood. I'm still hung up on that.
So not necessarily two blood types, but two totally different kinds of blood, copper and lead.
Yeah, or copper and iron.
Iron, whatever.
Yeah.
Does human?
I'm glad we don't have lead.
I guess lead wouldn't be poisonous.
Wouldn't be too
right?
good.
Yeah, if we did have lead-based blood, would we be resistant to radiation?
We'd probably be
That's
dead,
true.
actually.
Like, how do you think a human and a Vulcan perform coitus? How do you think that happens?
Logically, I
Well,
imagine
obviously Vulcans have the same equipment as well,
I think that Gorilla, I think you're completely and totally incorrect.
Thank you for remembering that quote, Captain. I wish you.
But you don't think the Vulcans have the same equipment as humans there?
No, I do not.
Okay.
So you think it's artificial insemination?
I don't know how it works. Trip and T'Pol had a baby on Enterprise, and it was not successful.
Well, apparently T'Pol must have had a hole he could stick it in, and it worked.
Or maybe, yeah, I suppose if you'd wish to phrase it that
Because
way.
they didn't even know. They didn't even know about Elizabeth. It's in there, and T'Pol was interested in the human sexuality there, so that's why why they even, after all their little sessions there, that's why how they even ended up together.
Right, but they ended up together.
Yeah.
And they had a child.
Yeah.
And the child did not survive.
At the first one.
How many tries did they do?
I do not know. I don't have the scoreboard in front of me.
Were they married?
No, not as far as I know.
No, they were.
They're officially a bastard.
No, but they had been together for years.
Kid's dead, yo. Why do you have to besmirch the dead?
Okay, so what is your taking that into consideration, Gorilla? What is your grade for this episode?
I am gonna be very generous here. I'm gonna give the episode a C because I'm still pissed with Kirk because he should have just told those Orions. First of all, they kept calling it Orions, and that just driving me fucking nuts. We've been calling it Orions since the 19th century with the Orion constellation and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Then also, Kirk
agreed.
Kirk negotiated like he was. Well, he had all the cards in his hand. All he had to tell them is like, "What do we get if we give you back your message? We won't blow you out of the sky there or whatever, out of space. We won't blow your ship up."
Well, but the captain knew you're not going to blow us up because we have what you need too badly.
Well, yeah, that's when you disable the shields, beam it over, then blow them up. as a warning to any other Ryans there, and they kept harping, "Oh, our new child. Well, you should have thought about that before you decided to mess with us. And not only did you lose your neutrality, you lost the ship."
Yeah, that's true. Be more tough next time.
Maybe not enough to go to war, but you put yourselves in a losing situation.
Just screw this diplomatic crap, right?
There's a time to be diplomatic.
That's my new catchphrase.
And really, that's called cowboy diplomacy. There, they didn't even really have to act on it because the Ryans there had nothing to gain or lose from it. No, they had everything to lose, but nothing to gain from keeping the medicine from them. They could have easily gotten. They could have easily just taken. I won't mention this a lot, but you just give us our shit back.
And well, they were kind of victims of happenstance. If if the drug that was supposed to save Spock hadn't been on that freighter, then the Orions would have got away with it. Like it wouldn't have made a lick of difference.
Well, that's one of those. They fucked around and they found out.
Well, just never, never think that the Federation is like the freighters are freighting other things than just dilithium. They're not just sows of energy.
I agree with Lemon Pie. It's T'Pol, so I bet figuring it out wasn't a chore.
A chore?
A chore.
Wow, a chore.
A chew.
A chore.
And
I would appreciate it. No, I would love it if T'Pol used me as a Rubik's Cube.
Are you talking about, T'Pol is Spock's girlfriend from the original series? Is that right?
No,
or am I wrong?
T'Pring. T'Pol is from Enterprise. She was
All right.
She was the
Don't
Vulcan.
conflate it to Pollen to Pring.
Limit Pie,
I'll
just
take
for
the
that,
Pring.
I will,
to me.
all right, Limit Pie, just for that, I'm gonna raise it up to a C+.
Oh, here
More
we are under
sex
attack
bot.
again. Under attack.
We got another
under attack.
Whackabot. I brought up
Shields up.
T'Pol.
Shields up. Red alert.
Whack him off.
Phrasing.
Oh,
Thank-
okay.
Thank you to Lemon Pie for smashing the bot.
Cheers,
thank
Lemon.
you, Lemon Pie. I appreciate
Wait, you
it.
beat Jill to that? What the hell?
Yes, I was
Are you doing all right,
distracted.
Jill?
I'm doing fine. I just had to deal with some stuff.
Totally,
She's-
that's totally fine.
Jill is currently fencing.
So, Scotty, your review. She's probably juggling, I'm guessing.
No, well, no. She's actually having a sword fight with someone, but she's also moderating 3 other chats. She's doing the slides for this channel. And no, she's amazing.
And
She's a
differential
superhero.
calculus.
Yeah,
And calculating
exactly.
pi to the next 15 decimal places.
You know, I
You
never
never-
took Diffie Q. I just learned a bit about it.
Only Jill can call it. I don't even know what it is.
Diffie Q.
The fuck?
That's great. I never heard it phrased like that before.
Yeah, because the only one I thought could.
But like
only
Einstein
could
going,
Jill
I'm just going to do a bit of the old Jenny Relly. Later, I'll do a bit of the old Specie Relly.
Yeah, the only one I thought could do pull a challenge on bots though was Kronos.
Oh man.
So my rating for the Pirates of Orion is it's an A. It was going to be an A+, but Gorilla, you're right. There's a lot of stuff to hack away at. But this felt like an action-packed episode of Star Trek that I had never seen before, and it felt great to watch it. And so I had never seen it before. And some parts were lazy and some things didn't look great. But it's Star Trek, so I'm fine with it because DeForest Kelley was there. I got James Doohan.
Yep,
I
you got your bones.
I got some like so many people we've lost in Star Trek, and like I don't think she had any lines, but Nichelle Nichols was on an episode of Star Trek that I saw, even though it was animated.
She did have a line about she did have a line in this episode. I forget what it was.
Yeah, early in the episode when they were talking about transferring over the goods.
Something like, oh no, she was absolutely. I apologize, I forgot because she was on the away team there. Sorry, the landing party that went to the
right. She had 2 lines.
Yeah,
she got the tapes. She found the tapes.
The tapes.
So
right?
no, like this is crazy awesome to be able to have like original actors doing new Star Trek adventures,
right? Playing those characters, right?
Yeah, and I've never
something
seen
you'll never find again, right?
So yeah,
it's basically it's like a time capsule.
I have 5 more, but
And
this is an
A.
This is an A.
This is an A. Okay, Lemon Pie says Matt LOL, and Matt G says play probably left a 0.08% tip, 8 cents. LOL says Matt G, and Lemon Pie says I'm quite a fast bot smasher. I just don't get to show it off here because Jill is like lightning. Yes, she is. Jill never gives less than 100%. Lemon Pie says, or she was.
Amen.
Captain, please,
Yo,
what do you think about this episode?
I like it. I think it's
seen it?
good. Sure, at least 3 times today.
Okay.
It's Chekhov is a great loss to the show once again, but it must be his week off. Of all the episodes I've seen, it's the most recent. The animation was good. I give it an A, B, C, D out of 8.
And how about you, PvP? Would you like to give it a grade? Did you see it?
Sure. Well, actually, I already voted earlier. I watched it again earlier today just to refresh my memory, and I did notice some of the continuity errors, which was why I dropped it a bit to a B+.
B+.
Yeah, I thought it was a very good episode, but there were enough noticeable errors in it. Well, I mean, calling them, Orions, I mean, for one thing. which was a bit ridiculous. But the animation errors were they did kind of add up after a while. So good episode, but I think a B+.
Yes, they did in a way. And I got to admit, yes, the animation for me, there were a few mistakes, obviously, as we noticed, continuity errors. But in my opinion, the artwork with the asteroid field and the ship, the Orion ship was great. Hold on just a sec. The Orion ship looked great, and so did the asteroid field. So I thought that animation, it kind of helps balance it out, but doesn't, not 100%.
Yeah, that was good, definitely.
Right, and I love the story. Like I said, it kind of reminds me a little bit of like the beginning was sort of Arena, which we'll be covering tomorrow. And I think the fact that it was such a young writer, and he brought
that was impressive.
blood in.
Very mature writing for a 19-year-old.
Right, and obviously he knew the characters the way he wrote them, so he was obviously a fan of the show, which really helped.
Well, even younger than that, he actually conceived of this story when he was in high school and put it in his high school. So he would have been like
17?
I don't know how young he was.
He was 7 years old.
So he was a teenager at home, right, watching Star Trek, and he thought, I'm going to write a story for my high school paper.
It was written in crayon in a coloring book, and it was sent to Gene Kuhn.
Yeah, right. Every time he tells the story, he gets younger.
He does. Next time, he'll be 2 years old. He sends it on an abacus.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and end the... Well, I guess poll complete. I guess it already completed for me. I never ended. I don't know when it did. See, Jill, this is like I was telling you before. My poll has already ended at some point during the stream. It stopped.
Yeah, it did. I don't know why that happened. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because now
so did A+ win?
Well, we have a total of 5 votes. We may have gotten more votes because there's more people watching right now, but it's just that I don't know when this thing ended. I don't know why it does
poll
that.
became self-aware.
Yeah, I guess the poll said enough of this crap, and it just ended itself.
Yeah,
it was Orion.
That seems odd, actually, that it's only 5 votes because there were quite a few people in the chat. And
there was.
I think when I started
all of those people hate democracy.
There was 5 when I started watching the stream.
I love
democracy.
I saw it get up to 8 and then at 10 at one point. But it's done this before, and I don't know why. And I don't know why, but from what I haven't heard anybody else complain about it. So is it just
another
me?
YouTube glitch, perhaps?
But it's like but it closed even before I opened it up because I opened it up when we started discussing our opinions and our grades, and it was already closed at that point.
Yeah, that's weird.
But for the 5 votes that I got, we got 60%, which a B- to a B+, and 40% for A- to an A+. And fortunately, we got 0 from C to basically D, or F, from C to F.
Gorilla, and where's your F?
He didn't get to vote.
Oh.
Probably.
It probably closed before any of you guys could vote. I don't know what.
But he said he gave it. He said he gave it a C.
Hey, no Limit Pies comment there. I was even nice enough to a C+.
Wow. So Jill, you still have never had your polls automatically closed like this?
Not once. Never. I don't get this bug. I don't know why you do. I can't help you. I don't really know because I
wasn't expecting. I'm not expecting you to be this. To solve the issue.
I know, but if I would have to look in the code, but I don't have YouTube code.
Well, do you think maybe is there a way does YouTube have any kind of sort of?
Are you using a Java SQL or is it a C++ database?
Quick question.
See that? I don't even know.
Quick question. When you're creating polls in the backstage.
No, I create on the YouTube page.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Well, okay. I thought you meant StreamYard, but yeah, no, I do it on YouTube.
Do you close that window and then go back to it?
No, I leave it open the whole time during the stream.
Okay, just curious. I don't know.
No, I know. I was thinking about that too at one point. So I was trying to think, is it my browser? But it shouldn't be my browser. That shouldn't make any difference. It's got to be on the YouTube side.
Are you only using StreamYard to stream or something else, other software?
Only StreamYard. And I was thinking, does YouTube have a support like on YouTube, on Twitter, or anything like that?
Yeah, there's a help forum.
Yeah,
and
they're
they
great
say that
at ignoring you.
They say that they respond within 24 hours.
They may.
Is that on YouTube or on Twitter?
Lie.
It's on YouTube. I've never used it.
They respond once every. You have to really elevate. You basically have to start swearing at them, calling them twits live on Twitter, seeing as many people as you know. Then they'll start paying attention.
I am a paid YouTube customer who puts things on YouTube, and I still feel like I'm not allowed to do this. This is wrong. I'm sneaking in. I'm jacking into the back. No. I don't think they care about me at all. There's no such thing as customer service for me.
Supposedly, if I create the poll, I should be
not
able
for
to have
YouTube. There isn't. They are. I mean, we're not playing the. And YouTube, if you're listening, you're putting adverts on our show, so you're making money off me, and you're not doing the basics. YouTube,
we're
not solving the problem. We're not
job.
solving the problem.
Do your job. Yeah. Do your job.
Yeah. Sorry, pop culture curator. I don't know how to solve that particular dilemma now.
Don't apologize. It's not your. Like right now, we have 9 people.
Hey. That's 3 more.
It just doesn't like me for some reason, I guess. I don't know what I did wrong. Maybe I slept with the wrong person.
Well, we don't talk about that one.
But for those of you that did vote, I appreciate that. And if you did not get a chance to vote in the poll before it closed, you feel free to put your score or grade in the chat, and I can read those out. So I won't let YouTube stop me. We'll get around these issues, I promise. I should have, if I'd have thought about it. I'm going to ask LDG next time I see him. He might have seen it before.
He does know how to solve those issues.
Nemesis of Eden says that may have been me that closed the poll. I'm really sorry. I don't think you can, Nemesis of Eden. You can't.
How can you close a poll?
I think only I can do it because I created it.
Like I'm on the panel, and I don't know how I would have. Like I thought I was like, well, maybe I did it, and it's like, no, you dismissed the poll after you've sort of voted.
Yes, right. When you dismiss the poll, Nemesis, right? Yeah, Nemesis. When you dismiss it, that just closes it for you. It does not close the polling, the actual poll itself. It just hides it
culture,
for you, so it's not in the way.
One that can actually close it, right? You would think.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
There's a difference between hide poll and close poll, basically. The viewer can hide
the
it.
Oreos.
Pop culture.
It was sabotage.
No need to apologize, Nemesis. Lemon Pie says, why did Gorilla raise his rating of this episode just because I reminded him Japal is hot?
Yes, that's the answer, and I agreed with him.
I got dirtier. I was thinking something a lot dirtier with that comment than you're thinking.
Skogly says you shouldn't have the ability to end the poll, Nemesis. There we go. I hit the close poll button so I can see what I was typing like 40 minutes ago, but that might have been what it was. No, Nemesis, that would not do it. That, like we were saying, that just hides it for you. Skogly says it's not Nemesis. And Lemon Pie says, can you reopen it? Lemon Pie says, I assume only channel host can close it at all. Am I incorrect? No, you're right. Or they can. Or lots of condom ads on Captain Streams. Just kidding. Lemon Pie says, raise your poll for DePaul. So
what is a condom?
What is a condom?
That was sarcasm. I know what they are.
But I apologize if you're in the chat and you did not get a chance to close the poll. And if you're watching on the rerun, I'm really confused, and I bet you are too. But thank you for sticking with us. And I wanted to, before we wrap this up, I wanted to thank everybody who came along. I know Skogly is here, PvP is here, who's now in the chat, and so is Scotty, Matt G, And Nemesis of Eden, Admiral Teague, Dalek stopped by for a little while, and Carol, it was great to see you again. Nemesis of Eden as well. And if I met G, you're probably going to hear me repeat myself. Just making sure that everybody was mentioned because I appreciate everyone being here.
Yay!
I'm
Matt G. Yes, I said that. I think
Matt
yes.
G was here. Matt G is always awesome.
Matt G is cool, and because I hope if you made a comment in the chat, I hope I covered it. I try to usually cover as many chats as I can because you guys mean that much to me. And I want to thank everybody here on the panel. Obviously, I had a great time. I missed you guys. I missed you guys last week, so I'm glad we're back again and we're able to finish these. It's a blast.
Yeah, well, I'm glad I could be here for the first one of season 2 because normally I would get in late because I'd normally be working for a while. But since it's the day after New Year's, you get that extra kind of stat break. So I don't actually go back to work till tomorrow, which was convenient.
Yeah, originally last week I was telling myself, well, I'm going to work on Monday for sure. But then I thought, this morning, I thought, oh, no, I'll take an extra day.
Our office was closed till tomorrow, so I didn't have a choice.
Nice. Lemon Pie says, enjoy the stream. Thank you, host, panel, and chat. Well, thank you, Lemon Pie, for being here. By the way, I'd like you guys to each tell me about your channel here before I show the trailer for our next week's show. So why don't we do this clockwise? Gorilla, tell us about your channel, please.
Well, let's see. On Wednesdays, we do Stranger Things watch parties right before Gilligan's Island there. On Thursdays, this might change up a bit, but we're doing the Walt Disney reviews, me and Resolute Germ, but because of schedule conflicts, we might have to change all that up. On Saturdays, we watch Babylon 5 together. Then on Sunday, we're doing Dystopian Month right now. And I'm going to do a little bit better research than I did for Brave New World. So
very nice. And Lemon Pie, thank you, and thank you, Captain. Lemon Pie is right, and we thank you, Captain, for recommending us. Thank you, Lemon Pie, for being here.
Yay! Thank you, Lemon Pie, for following the breadcrumb trail.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad you're enjoying yourself, Lemon Pie. We like you being here as well. Scotty, tell us about your channel.
Well, I am a representative of the Phantasmagorium show. Try Googling it. It'll never work. Anyway.
There should be a link down in the chat, everybody, or down in the description.
So, super jazzed to be talking about Batman into 2023. I'm going to be doing that with Catherine or Sly Snide on Twitter. And then also I'm going to be talking about Quantum Leap with Jill on Thursdays until we crash into Star Trek Patrick Stewart Season 3, at which point we're going to be talking about that. Those are the plans that we have.
Hard.
I appreciate that you called it a crash.
Yes, well, babe, sorry, that was too informal. But no, I know you're going to hate this. I know you're going to hate this. So
the streams will be good, though.
Yeah, no, if you want to see Jill go red-faced.
That should be really entertaining, actually. You guys will be at each other.
Well, it's gonna be.
It'll be like Amok time with the big battle.
Yeah, Steve thinks I'm going to like it.
But we're both Star Trek fans, and we both we respect each other's opinions. And so I think we're going into this with a guide through a mutual admiration, Robert Meyer Burnett, and he said that it was good. We're both going in with eyes wide open as to our own prejudices.
Eyes wide open and plug your nose.
Well, hey, man, maybe we'll need some.
You know how much they pay you this time?
What are the force field suits?
Yeah, or whatever. I was listening to Berto Frey's stream the other day, and he says now if Robert Meyer Burnett is wrong about this, then he's a shill. I'm thinking, oh, they're just now realizing it. Okay.
I don't think he's a shill. He's a real
I don't think
Star
he's
Trek
a
fan.
shill.
No, I'm thinking about when the Disney stuff. I mean, everything's a triumph.
Definitely
All
a
that,
shill.
everything in Marvel that has came out this year, he said it's a triumph.
You know what? But he's never been a shill for Star Trek.
Well,
yeah, but also
he thinks Deckard's a human. He's got no authority on anything, especially
Robert Meyer Burnett is a Moon Knight fan.
I was watching a bit of one of Burnett's streams the other day, and he actually said Star Trek Prodigy is a worthy addition to the Star Trek universe, basically.
I've been talking about that. No, but I've been
King
talking about that for the last little while. I've been talking to Jill about it, and I've been saying out of all of the Star Trek, and even Jill was sort of coinciding with the thought process. And I'm not.
But a worthy addition.
Well, no,
I wouldn't call it that. I was calling it a student who was still failing, but they were trying. It wasn't
right.
They weren't trying to get things wrong, but they were getting them wrong. But they're the way that they're doing it is with more respect than any of the other.
Well, I thought it was fascinating.
Things that are going on now, and that's what I'm sort of attracted to in terms of your at least acceptance of Prodigy, is because it is produced by Nickelodeon. It is farther away from
Secret Hideout.
Secret Hideout. That's the better way to say it. Don't swear, Scott. Stop it. And yeah, but I like the harder one. Anyway. No, but I'm just saying, like, I think that Prodigy is actually something that could develop into ideas, but it's being dismissed because of the era that it's being released. I want to check it out. I want them to graduate.
I want them to graduate away from the childish kind of plot that they have. And
how many episodes have you seen, Jill? How many episodes have you seen?
I saw
exactly. 3. Yeah, exactly. So all we have is the Federation ship and some punk kids who don't know how to drive it, and we have a hologram of Janeway. That's all we know about Prodigy. That's all I know about Prodigy.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to see where that goes. If people are saying it's good, I would go in that direction because it's a more realistic animation style than Lower Decks. It doesn't look like it's going to be a violent show. And it's the only thing it's really trying to be member berries about is Voyager, and it's all right.
Anyway, yeah.
Well,
yeah, but I'm just saying Voyager is not the lightning rod to bring in the broader audience. Voyager is.
Me, it isn't.
No, in fact,
there you go.
With Voyager, her voice is what turned me off that whole series. That was the least thing I liked about her.
Fingernails on the chalkboard.
Yeah, it was like, and then that's the highlight of the Prodigy or whatever. That's like
her performance.
Her voice never bothered me.
She sounds like a robot.
On my channel the other day,
am I robot?
I was screaming F you, Alex Kurtzman at the beginning there, and I explained why. Because they robbed my best of both moments were a moment like everybody at TG who grew up watching it on TV. You know how they're saying that when Will Riker gave the order to fire, they also said to be continued. I was kind of wanting something like that where I had to wait 6 months to find out what happened.
Well, I have a question.
My own best of both worlds moment.
I have a question. Robert Meyer Burnett and Michael Okuda both on Twitter posted that this new Picard season is the best it's ever, and it's going to bring back all the fans and blah, 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 blah. Both of them, I had the same reply. I said, have you seen it? And no reply from them.
Well, yes. They have.
Then why don't they say that?
He replied.
They have.
R&B said that he's seen it 3 times and that he likes it.
But ultimately, this is just opinion. I think really, even for people I respect.
Yeah, but my question is, you guys really don't. Okay, here's just this question is what I have. Well, you don't think that he has to fear losing his access if he tells the truth about certain things?
He's blocked by Paramount based on his criticism.
Right, but I'm talking about
Disney,
Disney,
he's never been afraid.
Disney.
He's never been afraid to be honest about Star Trek before. And so I don't see why he would lie now, except that it doesn't even matter if Picard season 3 is good, because since it is created by Secret Hideout, it's going to be supporting all of the other terrible Star Trek that is still being produced.
It's a house of shit cards.
So then, Jill, what do you think happened?
Exactly.
You think what made you think then would make him suddenly like it? Then him and Michael Okuda both. What do you think?
I don't know.
The thing is,
well, Michael Okuda is
completely worthless.
He's the art department. He makes everything pretty. So,
the reason why I mentioned him is the reason why I mentioned Okuda is because both of their tweets were almost identical, words and everything. It was almost like a Xerox copy. That's what I noticed. It was very suspicious.
You know, and the thing that worries me the most is that because I am a person who respects Robert Meyer Burnett, and he has gone to bat for Picard season 3. And if I see it, you know, it's going to be one of those things where it's like, oh, Icarus, careful, Icarus. Like you're going too close to the sun. And if you're going to go to bat for Picard season 3, I'm not afraid of Picard season 3 being bad. I'm afraid of Robert Meyer Burnett being wrong.
That's what I'm wondering.
Well, it would hardly be the first time.
Just to be honest, guys, I was subbed to the channel for a few years.
This one will hurt.
I was subbed to the channel for a few years. I listened to all his
argument
midnight when he drinks wine.
Let's be clear, Robert Meyer Burnett's argument.
This is a Star Trek show, Finity.
Right.
Excuse me, I'm talking. Thank you. Robert Meyer Burnett's argument, you're talking about Robert Meyer Burnett. Robert Meyer Burnett's argument for Deckard being a human is anyone that thinks he's a replicant is a hipster. I'm sorry, but that does not make you an intelligent debater.
Talking about
I still love that.
Calling Doomcock a hipster doesn't win the Deckard debate. Sorry, Rob, that's not good enough.
That's funny. Hipster.
Well, what might be a possibility is that he likes what he sees now, but that production isn't over and that storylines might change.
Is that why are we even quoting this idiot? He's got no authority. He doesn't understand.
I admire
him. He has authority.
Talking over me doesn't make me wrong in my observation. I've been interacting with the guy for 2 years. He's not very visually literate. Sorry.
Well, the thing is, too, I mean, if Burnett is wrong and if the show ends up like really stinking bad, he's going to lose credibility. And he hasn't
got any to lose.
He's gonna say that something changed. Like
he'll have an excuse.
Yeah, maybe he will. But I've already unsubbed from him.
Amongst whom?
Because I just don't find him as interesting anymore. I used to watch him every week 3 years ago when I,
Me too. I used to watch.
So did I, and that's what I learned.
I never watch him anymore.
For me, I have to admit it.
Broadcast anymore, really.
For me, I have to say. Yes, he was honest about Trek because we all know that Trek is close to him. We all know the movie that he wrote and made.
True.
But my point is the Disney part of it. Nobody wants to ask about the Disney stuff. Why he keeps saying everything. He said the Eternals and Shang-Chi and all that were triumphs. Nobody will question that. They're all like, well, it doesn't matter. He doesn't like Paramount. It's the same with Doomcock. Forgive him for everything as long as he hates Paramount. Nobody questions any of these people on why they still promote Disney, which is worse than Paramount right now at this point. Nobody wants to ask those questions.
I don't know if it's a matter of asking questions. I think that, well,
I've been attacked for asking that question before. I have experience. I'm sure some of you guys know.
Well, I'm naive. Like I am naive. I do want to talk about things that are good. I don't like talking about shit that sucks. I think that shit that sucks should get apathy. Like it's
I just think to be honest, if you're going to attack one company for saying this is what you're doing wrong and for these are the reasons, when there's another company right next to it doing the exact same thing, but you're buddies with them, that's where I'm like, what?
I like fighting fire for fire with fire. So every time I see someone say Captain Marvel or whatever. I just like
Captain Marvel was a triumph too, according to him. I just
like posting Strange Days or Tank Girl or I don't know, Barbed Wire. Like let's go old school. I would much rather look back at the awesomeness of what has been presented in terms of
Yeah, I
Well,
agree.
I agree
More
with,
interesting to
Boy,
talk
this
about things we love than
right.
I
I
mean,
agree with that, but
crap
that's a
should
different
just be
subject, right?
ignored, basically.
Right. I
this
agree with
what's
that.
happening on your
I kind of
channel
veered
this week
off.
section's really
Right. That's
raising up
a different
well.
subject, which I'm not going to argue. I do agree with that about the past. Yes, there's better stuff, but I'm just saying that's a different subject. We just got to a
That
different
was my
subject.
mistake. I skipped a groove.
No, I feel bad. I think Jill might be upset with me.
What? Why? What did you do?
Jill's gone away. Oh no.
Jill's gone away, but she does it very quietly.
Uh,
And
you know what? She's taking care of business and working overtime.
probably, yeah.
But I don't know. I just I ask people. It's like, okay, I can understand why you hate Paramount. Believe me, I hate Paramount too. I mean, I'm a big Star Trek fan. But then the same people are praising Disney, and it's like, but wait a minute, look what they did to Star Wars and Marvel and Pixar and the Muppets, and I'm confused.
Everything.
Can you at least tell? And I asked them, can you at least tell me then why is Disney so wonderful if you hate Paramount? I mean, what's the difference? And then rather than get an answer, I get attacked.
Well, no, I agree with you though.
I've never had anybody answer the question. I just get attacked for it, and I don't understand.
Well, that's their big strategy, though, is to attack anybody that questions anything, right? Especially if they're actual fans.
That's what I'm saying. Is I used to listen to Burnett's streams, all of them, every one of them, when he read the letters from the fans and from the subs, all that stuff, right? But when I started seeing the pattern, every time something from Disney came out, I was like, I know it's And then he brags about, oh yes, I went into a preview screening and I saw all the celebrities. I'm waving to so and so over there, and I'm waving to so and so over there, and I'm thinking he's got to be able to keep that access. Obviously, we all know that if he's truthful and if he says Captain Marvel was crap, he'll lose that access.
I don't know. I have hypotheses as to who could have possibly ushered a post-Berman Star Trek era, but it's just hypotheses. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just a guy who likes what I look.
Well, I'm ashamed for all of the TNG cast for taking those paychecks to be in what they're doing now and being even involved in it all, because they're all getting residual. They're all getting residuals from TNG. None of them need the money. So shame on them for any of them taking the role in this current iteration of Star Trek.
I don't know. I've always liked Michael Dorn hasn't ever said anything.
LeVar Burton's an asshole. Said no one ever.
But wait till you see season 3, and then let's see if you have the same opinion at the end of that.
Come on, exactly.
And Worf, if they have Dorn doing stuff that Worf would never really do, it's going to really be hard to.
I can't
think about that.
Right, I can't see them taking those two characters and those actors aside and saying, "We know you're not woke like the rest of them, so you just go ahead and be like your character usually is." No, that's not going to happen.
They'll just tell them to read the script.
What?
And do what they're told,
stick to the script. Right.
The thing is, this isn't even if it's good, it's not going to be real Star Trek. So,
and it's still going to be part of the agenda. That's the problem. Is they're being part of the agenda knowingly.
Yeah, whatever
it's
this
weird
right? Kurtzman alternate universe is.
Right.
This will be smashed right into that.
Right.
No
Kurtzman said it's an agenda.
No matter what happens, it's going to be better than Nemesis.
Right, it's a platform for their social agenda, is what he said, or something like that, right?
At least Nemesis was over in, however long it is, not 10 hours.
I used to pronounce it Nemesis. That's wrong.
You must be an Orion.
But anyway, I apologize for getting off subject.
Yeah. Oh, and I had gone away too.
It's going to be very interesting to see Scotty and Jill debating this season 3. I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to have to watch those.
Yeah, I can't wait for Berto Prey's reviews, by the way. Shout out everybody, Berto Prey 5. He's got the best Star Trek reviews. No offense to anybody else. But, the man knows how to take it on the chin, I guess you could say. He's got a lot more guts than I do.
He does.
How do you offend us considering that we are on your Star Trek review show and you're saying Berta Prey does a better job than I?
Well, I'm thinking there's other people out there that do Star Trek reviews. I'm just saying, in my opinion,
he does. He does.
Pop culture is saying that, look, you and I are reviewing the good Star Trek. Bird of Prey 5 is reviewing all of the new Trek. He doesn't, most of it. Well, maybe not all of it, but he watches all of it and he reviews a good portion of it. And that's where the bravery lies in, is what he's saying.
Well, and he was very fair with Lower Decks.
Mm-hmm. He is. Well, he takes it as it is.
Mm-hmm. I like his attention to detail. Right. I like his attention to detail and his sense of humor, because even when he gets upset, it's funny.
Right. It's always more entertaining and less heartbreaking to hear it from him than to actually watch the episode yourself.
Right. Unfortunately, once again, he takes the bullet for all of us.
He watches so we don't have to.
Right.
No, I personally experienced this. I'll watch an episode myself and it'll break my heart. But if I don't watch the episode and I just listen to someone's review on it, I'm just laughing.
That's me too, funny. Right. I can't bring myself. I don't want to
personal experience.
Right. It's like, do I want to see one? Do I want to see one of my dead relatives?
Well, okay, then I'll see the episode. I'm gonna be crying.
Right.
Well, then you have to. Well, if you would like a commentator to put an episode of Star Trek through a prism for you to be able to enjoy it, hey, if that's how you have to watch Star Trek, that's cool with me.
Just to keep up to date. It's just to keep up to date with the stuff that I know is garbage anyway.
Right. That's fine. I don't like kale either.
And Nemesis Vita says, I'm sorry, I heard my name. Who's going to be better than me? I'm a fighting them. And Skogley says, Lower Decks is easily the best modern truck. But I absolutely get why people don't like it.
Truck.
Modern
Trek. Yeah, I know. Sorry, Skogley. I was just kidding. I kind of figured that. Yeah, trucking. But sorry about that, Skogley. I figured that's what you meant. Thank you.
It was just a punchline. My sister actually makes some very lovely kale chips. She puts some spices on them. They're actually quite tasty. They're like,
a big term in the early 70s. Keep on trucking.
Keep on trucking.
I remember the posters.
Yep.
I remember the beginning of never mind. This is not
I remember the Alamo.
Place to bring up Jay and Silent Bob or the Alamo.
Whose turn is it, Jill's?
Okay.
Is it my turn?
Yes.
Yeah,
Jill,
promote your stuff.
Please tell us about your channel, Jill.
I have a wonderful, great science fiction channel, Antiderivative Jill. I'm at 313 subscribers. I'd like to get a few more. So if you like this stream, you'll like the ones on mine too. Tomorrow, pop culture curator Scotty R37 and I will review the legendary Star Trek original series episode, Arena.
At last.
And then on Thursday, I'll be on the Phantasmagorium to review Quantum Leap.
Yeah.
Scott Bakula one, not
one.
Scott Bakula one.
Yeah, not whatever.
Classic.
Only classic.
Kogi says head and shoulders above the rest, meaning the modern Lower Decks. He's saying his head. I guess I'm not gonna. I can't repeat those words. They can't come on. But okay, Chick-fil-A has a decent little kale salad. That's not what I meant. But he was saying that. He was saying that
Thank you, Lemon.
Is usually the best modern truck or Trek.
Oh yeah, that one. I truck,
right. But Captain, did we mention your channel yet? What you have to offer?
I've been waiting to talk for quite a while now.
The spotlight is on you, sir.
It's all right, Scotty. I'll keep it brief. Regarding Scotty's position that most YouTubers have the choice of slagging off things they don't like on TV or talking about the things they do like, I've pushed it to the two extremes. The most positive extremes. I'm not just talking about the things I like. I'm making the things that you're going to like. I'm making my own comic book. I'm not just criticizing pop culture. I'm co-creating pop culture. At the other extreme, full negativity. My new section, Dumb Takes, that Robert Meyer Burnett's come out with over the last 2 years, is debuting tomorrow, starting with his piss poor take on Reservoir Dogs. Tomorrow, Blade Runner. Okay, thanks. Back to
you. BVP, would you like to tell us about your channel?
Yeah, sure. I'll give it a brief go here. Well, I still haven't got around to putting any actual videos up like all of you folks have, but I did add some more album playlists over the last few days, and so you want to check those out if you want to listen to some music in the background while you're doing something. And
what do you got?
yeah,
what did you add?
It was Jeff Buckley's Grace album.
Nice.
And one by Pete Shelley. I don't know if any of you are familiar with him. He was sort of big with the punk new wave stuff in the late 70s, and then he sort of went into electronic music in the 80s, which is
Wait, did you
Punk?
Who is he again? I wasn't listening.
Pete Shelley.
Pete Shelley.
His band was called the Buzzcocks. If you've never heard of them.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever fallen in love? Have you ever fallen in love?
You should have led with
that. Yeah, that's the song.
Shouldn't have.
That was their biggest hit, actually. But yeah, so I put his second solo album, which is called XL1, if I remember correctly. And yeah, it's really interesting because it's kind of got, it's got sort of an edge to it, but it does have a lot of synthesizer stuff too. So it's a good album.
Very cool.
So yeah, and I want to do some watch parties one of these days when I figure out how to go about setting everything up, which I haven't done yet, but I hope
PvP, if you ever want to. If you ever want to PvP, let's set up a stream where you and I can get together, and I'll show you how to do it. You'll learn in under 5 minutes. Yeah, I'll show you. It's really simple and easy, and we can always get your channel started with a live stream similar to what we're doing now.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, because I sort of looked into it a little bit, during the time off here during the holidays, but I just haven't figured it out yet. So, but yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'm always here if you have any questions, and yeah, you can always do an open topic.
You're on.
Yes.
You're at your pop culture
PCC curator.
PCC curator.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, because I signed up for Twitter over the
PC
weekend,
curator.
so
That's
I'm on
it.
there
Okay.
now too, so I can contact you that way. Then probably be the easiest, I guess.
Yeah, and I'll help you set up. It's really simple. And even if you're thinking, well, I don't know what to say, we could do an open topic, open mic kind of stream.
Sure. Yeah, that'd be great. Maybe this coming weekend then, because that would work.
Well, I'm available anytime after 6 p.m. Pacific.
Oh, okay. Great. Because I got to work the next few days, and then I got a few appointments and stuff I got to do Thursday, Friday. But it should be good. Say maybe Thursday night or Friday night, something like that, or even on the weekend.
Either one sounds good for me. Keep in touch. Yeah, contact me on Twitter, and also, like I said, very easy. I'll show you how to do a watch party, how to set up Cosme, and all that stuff.
Yeah, because I have actually used Cosme. I've been on there. Actually, I've done some Man from Uncle streams. Jill and I have been watching some of that, and sometimes Jill will do one where we watch Deep Space Nine on Saturdays before the Saturday Night Trek stuff. And so I'm familiar with Cosme. I know how to set stuff up on there already. So it's just, if I'm going to do something, like here on StreamYards or something, I haven't got that part figured out yet. But
right.
Yeah,
so it's basically it's showing you how to use the studio, how to get around the studio, which I'll show you.
That would be awesome. Great. Thank you. Thank you very much.
The pleasure is all mine. And for all you on the chat, once again, I want to thank everybody for being here. I know I said your names earlier. And on the rewatch, I hope you enjoyed the stream. And most of all, I want to thank all of you on the panel. You guys did a great job tonight. Thank you for being so entertaining and insightful.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Yep. So we're going to be wrapping this up, and I'm going to be showing the preview for next week's episode here.
Bam.
Oh, Bam?
Oh,
really?
Bam. Oh, wow.
Oh, the Michael Jackson song. Bam.
The three of us.
It's different.
So if I can select the right button for a change, here we go. Present. Is it?
That's what Bem said.
I'm forever blowing bubbles. Oh no.
What is that? Who's the bubble guy?
Just a chimp.
Hey, that's racist.
Okay, here we go. I hope you guys can hear this okay.
Me too.
Taken up orbit around Delta Theta 3, and the Enterprise is to investigate and report.
Assistance is offered.
Hey, Ben! Ben, come back!
He would have had to go through here to escape.
Set phasers to stun, just in case. Kirk to Enterprise. This is my communicator.
These are not Enterprise communicators, Captain.
Phasers and communicators have been switched for phonies.
Kirk, Captain?
Shut up. We're rescuing you.
Who are you?
I am Captain James Tiberius Kirk of the Starship
Yay!
Enterprise.
Your weapons will be nullified.
There are times, Mr. Spock, when I think I should have been a librarian.